Chapter 28. The Shadow. Fucking imbeciles, man. It blows my mind how sick in the head these men are. I arrived here just in time to see Mark eyeing up a doll eating a sandwich while his wife, Claire, sits right next to him and watches him eye fuck a young girl. She doesn't look the least bit jealous, but incredibly concerned for the girl dressed up as a broken doll. It takes all my strength not to charge up to him and smash his head into that wooden bench until nothing remains but brain matter and bone. But I stay in the shadows, keeping one eye on Mark and the other on the crowd, looking for my little mouse. She's going to be a distraction tonight, and that could cost me. I roll my neck and blow out a breath. Addie running into Mark is a slim possibility, but not impossible. If she stays far away from them, then she should be safe to have a fun time. Mark and his partners came here with the intention of stealing a child or two, though they'd never do the dirty work themselves. They're public figures and would never risk being caught. Notably, none of the men have their kids, which proves they came here with a plan and didn't want the hindrance. They'll be here under the guise of spending time with their wives and nothing more. But I'll bet my left nut he takes pictures and sicks a lackey on whoever he deems appetizing. My goal tonight is to prevent any kidnapping attempts from being successful. I have several men on standby stationed all throughout the fair, keeping an eye on each of Mark's business partners, whoever they target, and any other suspicious activity. And it looks like Mark may have found his first target. The broken doll is in a staring contest with Mark, exchanging smiles like an addict and their dealer. She's not a child by any means, but she's still young enough to sell into the skin trade. I got eyes on Mark, I inform. Jay and the other mercenaries will be able to hear me through the earpiece fitted snugly in my ear. Keeping a safe distance, I maneuver around passing bodies to get a better view of the doll's face. The creepy-ass smile warping her lips speaks of a challenge far more than words ever could. Daring him to come after her, based on the glimmer in her eyes, it feels deeper than just performing for her job. Claire is still staring at the girl too, but fear is radiating from her pores as brightly as the blush painted on her hollow cheeks. Mark doesn't notice, but it seems the doll does. The latter hops off the bench, winks at Mark, and skips off towards a haunted dollhouse. Mark's eyes follow her the entire way, his gaze pinned to her ass and tongue swiping at his crusty lips. And then he's sliding his phone out of his pocket and making a call. My eyes thin, splitting my attention between Mark and the doll that disappeared inside Annie's playhouse. He stays on the phone for all of a minute before he's hanging up and turning to Claire. His wife nods imperceptibly, just a single dip of her chin. What Claire has knowledge of is a mystery to me. Mark may hide most of his dealings, but I imagine she's not completely ignorant to how her husband spends his free time. The haunted house has come to life almost immediately after. Flickering lights blare from the windows, and eerie music fills the air, mingling with the startled screams from guests. The colorful smoke that's been drifting across the open field now clouds the inside of the houses. Hordes of people start drifting towards the creepy structures, forming lines outside the still locked doors. Mark clenches Claire's arm and drags her up from the bench, speed-walking directly towards Annie's playhouse. And emerging from the bustling crowd behind Mark are his colleagues, Jack, Miller, and Robert. Well, I'll be fucking damned. I got eyes on all four, I say quietly. Location? Jay asks, keyboard clicking in the background. Whoever owns this park doesn't believe in safety. No cameras exist around the entire field, forcing Jay to use a small drone that hovers above the carnival. It won't be able to go into any of the houses undetected, but it will be able to capture any kidnapping attempts. Annie's playhouse. Let us know if you need us, one of the men, Baron, says. His deep, baritone voice is easy to pick apart from the others. I open my mouth, ready to respond, but then I see a flash of cinnamon hair already in line for Annie's playhouse. Fuck me with a pogo stick. The broken doll must be conspiring with God, because only divine fucking intervention would bring all of them together like this. The minute I see Mark tap Addie's shoulder while they stand in line, my entire stomach bottoms out. He and his colleagues happened to be standing right behind her, and it took less than 5 seconds for Mark's eyes to land on Addie and Daya's ass. It took more effort to drag his eyes up to their faces and recognize who was standing before him. Addie turns, and surprise flitters across her face, followed by a forced smile and an enthusiastic display, despite finding the fucking crypt keeper standing behind her. Daya looks Mark up and down, an unimpressed glint in her eyes, despite the polite smile curling her lips. I watch them talk for a few minutes. Mark, his usual boisterous self, as he introduces her to his colleagues. Even now, I know Addie well enough to know there's beads of sweat gathering along her hairline. I'm sure Mark has asked where I am, and I'm only curious to know what her response is. The whole interaction makes my skin tight, and I'm gearing up to storm over there. I was trying to give Addie space tonight, but that's no longer an option. Now that 4 predators are about to enter into a house with her, there's a high possibility Addie and her friend will never make it home. If I wasn't here, of course. Mark may like me, but he doesn't respect me. Not more than the society, at least. And his buddies aren't going to even consider me when they're ushering 2 beautiful girls into a nondescript van. The only thing on their minds will be pussy and dollar signs. I beeline towards Mark, barreling through a guy that looks like he roasts in a tanning bed like it's the fountain of youth. Doesn't make sense, but clearly the kid doesn't possess any if he's pointedly standing in my way and refuses to move after he sees me coming. Exactly why he ends up on his ass. Curses following me as I continue on my path. Just as I approach, Addie and Daya are ushered into the house, leaving Mark and his friends behind. The houses have an occupation limit to prevent the cramped space from becoming too congested, especially with people running like their life depends on it. "Mark," I greet, loudly, a smile stretched across my face. I can feel my scars tightening from how hard I'm forcing it, but the old man is too self-absorbed to notice. Mark looks startled as he turns to me, but just like Addie, a strange smile stretches across his face. "Zach, you made it! I just saw Addie go in with her pretty friend. She said you went off to find a bathroom." Smart little mouse. She left it open to the possibility that I'm around somewhere and could show up any minute. Fucking love that girl. I flash my teeth again. "Yeah, I just found a quiet spot real quick," I say, pointing over my shoulder lazily. "Ah, being a man is God's gift," he laughs, slapping my arm. "You've met my colleagues here." I exchange quick pleasantries, but I shift, wearing my impatience on my sleeve. The employee opened the door and is waiting for me to enter. "Mind if I cut ahead? I want to catch up." Mark swoops his hand forward, gesturing for me to go ahead, his lips tightened into a thin line. Someone shouts behind me, noticing that I cut in line. Mark's placations are cut off by the slam of the door. Walking into this house feels like stepping into another dimension that demons inhabit. My skin prickles as I look around the pink monstrosity. What in the actual hell? I mutter under my breath, momentarily distracted by the eyesore this house is. If Addie and I have a daughter, I hope she has some goddamn sense and prefers black. It feels like my eyeballs are physically cringing from all the pink. Did Barney come in here and shit everywhere? Jesus fucking Christ. Addie's light brown hair flashes in my peripheral. Just as my eyes slide to her, she's disappearing behind a corner, getting chased by a monster. Their screams fill up the smoky atmosphere, bringing a smirk to my face. It's a good taste of what I'm going to make her sound like later. My feet work on autopilot, trailing after her. I hear the door open again, followed by Mark and his friends' voices. I'll be sure to keep a firm barrier between my girl and the dipshits behind me. Addie and Daya will have fun, undisturbed by the real monsters in the house. It's when they scramble up the stairs, a laughing heap of limbs and screams, I lose sight of them. I run up the stairs, hearing their screams from behind the first door. I study the hallway system. There are too many doors in this hallway, making it physically impossible for this many rooms. Some of them are false doors, which means they could end up in any one of these rooms when they come out the other side. They might not even come back out in the hallway at all if the rooms connect on the inside. Sighing, I make my way down the hallway, intent on peeking in a few rooms and finding the best place to camp. Singing erupts moments later, and I freeze from the ice-cold chills traveling down my spine, the hair on the back of my neck rising. It could be a part of the haunted house experience, but something niggles at the back of my mind, warning me of incoming danger. Not shit I can do about it until someone comes out swinging. Ignoring the singing, I forge on. There should be an exit sign hanging over one of the doors in the case of a fire, so guests know where to evacuate. I suspect it'll be in one of the back rooms. I can camp out in the room opposite, which will allow me to keep an eye on the hallway, and I'll know exactly when Addie leaves. When I enter the room on the left, I sweep my eyes across the small area, looking for the exit. In tandem, I feel a presence come up behind me, one that doesn't want to invite me to their tea party anytime soon. While mechanical mannequins burst from an armoire and a closet, my heart stalls in my chest, but I stay calm as I turn towards the malicious presence at my back. The last thing I expect to see is the broken doll from earlier, the one taunting Mark. Her brown hair is pulled up in pigtails, with pink bows wrapped around them. Dull brown eyes stare at me, intent shining brightly behind the makeup on her face. Up close, she's a lot creepier than I had expected. Probably because the look in her eyes is murderous. I glance down, taking quick inventory of her. She's wearing a thin white nightgown, leaving little to the imagination. I barely notice her nipples poking through the thin fabric. No, what my eyes lock in on is the outline of a knife strapped to her thigh. My blood chills. If this bitch tries to hurt my little mouse... Where are they? I ask, keeping calm. I'm waiting to see confusion bloom on her face, followed by a question on who I'm talking about. But she doesn't give me that sense of security. She seems to know exactly who I'm talking about.
Safe from you.
She snips. Then she turns her head to the side, staring at the wall.
Let the others know 2 women are being followed and make sure they get away safely. I have this handled.
I can't help the smirk that tips up the corners of my mouth. While part of me is tripped up on who she's talking to, I'm mostly amused that she thinks she can handle me. Her eyes track something that I can't see, as if she's watching them leave. So, you're crazy, huh? She rears back, offended by my assessment. Frankly, I couldn't give a less of a shit. Anxiousness is curdling in my stomach like spoiled milk. Addie and Dia still haven't stumbled their way to the back of the hallway yet, and this little girl must think I'm like Mark and here to hurt them. And well, she's not entirely wrong. Except I'm only interested in hurting one of them, and by the time I'm done, she'll love the way I make her scream. She snaps.
Don't call me that. You're the one preying on women.
I arch brow, on the verge of laughing in her face. That just makes me disturbed, not crazy. Her tiny hands ball into tight fists, and a snarl pulls her face taut with anger. The doll lifts her nightgown far enough to bring out the knife and kicks the door shut behind her. I can't tell if I should laugh or rage. She's deliberately keeping me from my little mouse, and that makes me very fucking unhappy. What are you going to do with that, Dolly? I ask, a mocking smirk on my face. This should be over quickly.
I'm going to kill you, monster.
I don't have time for this shit. The longer I'm trapped in a room with Chucky's bride, the more opportunity handed over to Mark. If the men notice I'm nowhere to be found, and Addie is left vulnerable, nothing will stop them from seizing the moment. She's more interested in talking, and time is ticking. I charge at her, but I'm surprised by how much fight she has in her. I humor her, the sloppy attacks beginning with a knife and ending with her fists. The entire time she rages like a petulant child, throwing a fit because she can't land a strike. I see the desperation leaking into her expression, just as antsy to take me down as I am her. Finally, I land one good sucker punch to her nose, causing her to lose her footing and go crashing to the ground. She screeches out some idle threat, but my focus is on the door. I storm past her, whipping out the door and charging down the hall.
Jackal!
She screeches from behind me, but I pay her no mind. I don't know who the hell she's talking to, but I don't give a fuck. I stop short when I look to my left and see the 4 men of the night packed into a room. I breathe out a sigh of relief, a small weight lifting off my shoulders, with the confirmation that they didn't get the chance to trap Addie. Until I hear the words that come out of their fucking mouths. "Where does she go?" Miller asks, staring at Mark. "The van is already set to go. They just need to know their location." I snap straight, and my body stiffens like cement being injected into my spinal cord. "We'll find them," Mark placates. "Zach wasn't with them, so he must have lost them in the chaos. It's the perfect time." "You do realize you're going to have to handle him, right, when he finds out Addie is gone?" Robert cuts in. "With those nasty scars on his face, I have a feeling you're underestimating him." Mark waves a hand, dismissing Robert's concerns, his very fucking valid concerns. "He got those scars because he was weak, Robert." I laugh silently, my head thrown back and shoulders shaking as I let his very ill-minded assumption wash through me. And then my laugh bleeds out, rocketing through the small space and blending with the other creepy noises pinging around this house. The 4 men's heads snap towards me and bleed dry of whatever color was left in their faces. The 4 of them are sweaty and look like they have watched their worst nightmares come to life. They'll soon realize that I sit on the fucking throne and their nightmares bow to me. I'm far worse than any monster they could ever imagine. I walk into the room, the grin on my face widening when they flinch away. "Sit," Mark starts. "You know how old these scars are, Mark? Very old. My opponent was a formidable one. But do you want to know who ended up on the floor with their throats slashed and holes where their eyeballs used to be? Certainly wasn't me, fucker." Mark tries to brush off my story with a laugh, the sound choked and broken. "Zach, please, we weren't speaking of your girlfriend." "Mark, the last thing you want to do is lie to me." Just as Mark opens his mouth, a little door in the room springs open and out crawls the biggest fucking nuisance of the night. "For the love of God, please leave me alone," I snap. Mark and his friends turn to find the doll straightening, a determined gleam in her eye. Her face brightens.
God has nothing to do with this, silly. Chapter 29. The Manipulator. I think if I don't go sit the fuck down, I'm going to collapse. You'll have to peel me out of this mud. I point towards a bench. Go ahead and relax. I'm going to go through the House of Mirrors real quick. Fine by me. It'll take you forever to get out of that thing, and it'll be time to go. The House of Mirrors has always been one of my favorite places. It's an elaborate maze of mirrors and very difficult to find your way out of. It's one of the biggest buildings at the fair, and they fill every inch of it with mirrors. The fair will close in about a half hour. It's pushing it, but it should be just enough time to get through it if I concentrate. The house is painted all black, no array of colors, flashing of lights or smoke. I've always thought it was trippier like this. Sometimes it feels like being in a silent room, left with nothing but your thoughts as your own image haunts you. It takes all of 5 minutes before I'm thoroughly lost. I keep my hands held out before me, preventing me from running face first into one of the mirrors. I did that a couple of years ago, and my nose was bruised for a week. A few minutes pass by with nothing but the company of my own reflection. My heart rate is pumping erratically, my breathing uneven with excitement. Despite the pounding in my chest, this is where I feel most normal. Off in the distance, I hear a faint shuffling of feet. Not very many people come in here, especially this late, but there's plenty of people who like to take on the challenge. Continuing on my wayward path, I concentrate on where I'm going, soon forgetting about anything else going on around me. The trick is to focus on the floor and not your reflection. Just as I almost face-plant a mirror, I hear a dark chuckle. My head snaps up, the tone of the laugh sounding evil. A spark of adrenaline ignites, pumping the chemical into my heart and kicking up the speed further. Did an employee dressed as a monster sneak in here to mess with me? I wouldn't hold it past them. They're known to follow people around and terrorize them. Swallowing the lump in my throat, I turn to find my bearings. If there is a creepy monster in here with me, I'd rather they not get close enough that I have to look at 1,000 of their reflections. Finding my way past the mirror that almost gave me a nose job, I start ahead again.
Little mouse.
The whisper seems to travel from every direction. My limbs lock, not sure if my imagination is playing tricks on me or if Zaid is actually here. Unfreezing, I force myself to keep moving, hoping I'm just imagining things.
Where are you, little mouse?
I gasp, the deep voice closer. Another sinister chuckle echoes. And Jesus Christ, this man is capable of evil. No one sane sounds like that. Squeezing my eyes shut, I take 3 deep, calming breaths, trying to ease my racing heart. He's fucking with me, trying to scare me, and it's fucking working when I'm trapped in a maze of mirrors and he's laughing like a goddamn lunatic. He can't just let me have my night, can he? For once, I didn't think about him and my conflicting feelings. And though Zaid doesn't quite scare me as much, except for maybe right now, the feelings he brings out of me certainly do. Maybe if I keep quiet, he won't find me. Restarting my path, I quicken my pace until I'm speed walking through the labyrinth of mirrors. I have no idea how far I am, but I don't even think I've made it halfway through. It's right then that I see the first image of Zaid reflected back at me. Dressed in all black, with his scarred face hidden deep in his hood. I gasp, whipping around just to find more of his reflection. He's not behind me, but he's somewhere close. Stop it! I bite out, fear constricting my chest. He doesn't answer, and of course the fucker doesn't listen. I'm caught in a whirlwind, my body continuously moving in circles, desperate to pin exactly where he is.
You all alone, baby girl?
I swallow. Obviously. I whisper, still searching for where he is. It feels like I shouldn't have said that.
No one here to save you?
A shot of anxiety hits me in the chest. Why the hell would I need to be saved, Zaid? You going to hurt me? It's then he lifts his head. Just enough for me to provide a view of his mouth. A wicked smirk is stretched across those lips. I try to remember that he won't hurt me. He was just in my bed a week ago, sad and vulnerable. By the time I opened my eyes in the morning, he was gone, and I haven't heard from him since. But my brain is having trouble connecting who he is now to who he was then. Because now, he looks savage.
I'm going to ruin you,
He corrects. I take a step back, a lump forming in my throat. His image moves, his body walking in a different direction. Is he coming closer? I can't tell. I take another step back, the adrenaline in my system rising to dangerous levels. He's scaring me.
Run.
He growls. My lungs constrict at the guttural command.
If I catch you, I fuck you.
Eyes widening, I listen, my body catapulting into action. I run. In here, I'm completely vulnerable to him. I'm well and truly trapped in the spider's web, and the son of a bitch is poisonous. His reflection follows me everywhere I go. There were a few times I was convinced I'd truly lost him, seeing nothing but my own image. And then he'd step out from somewhere, crushing my hopes. After a few minutes, I'm out of breath. The adrenaline and fear are getting to me. My chest is constricted too tight, my lungs reduced to strings and no longer capable of holding oxygen. I'm lost and trapped with a very dangerous man who is going to absolutely devastate me. I don't think I'm running from him anymore, but rather from the person I'm going to be when he's finished with me. I was ready to give myself over to him when he emerged from my balcony doors and came to me with a heavy heart. The man put some type of spell on me because when he was hurting, all I wanted to do was make him feel better. Give myself over to him if that's what would help. But I know that I would have woken up the next day and hated myself because I would have slept with a stalker, a murderer, and a man who has forced himself on me on several occasions. I would have slept with a man who doesn't respect my boundaries, my personal space, or the word no. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that's exactly what's about to happen. How do I accept that? How do I toss away the moral compass that's been directing my entire life? For a man that I should loathe, but I don't. I just don't. He's all those things, but he's also one of the most admirable men I've ever met. The devotion and passion he has for saving women and children stolen away from their homes and lives. He's doing something massive in the world and making an impact in a substantial way. I can't even begin to put into words the way he makes me feel. He's such a fucking oxymoron, contradicting in the most agonizing ways. And despite his cracked moral compass, I feel safe with him, even now when fear is rewiring my brain. I stop running, panting heavily, hopeless. That's what running from Zayd is, fucking hopeless. Chest pumping, I wait for him to find me. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to outrun him. My only chance of escaping is to somehow incapacitate him and then try to run. A laugh bubbles up my throat. He's been training me to do just that, right? My shadow has been giving me the means to protect myself. Against him. Hot breath tickles my ear, sending chills down my spine. I close my eyes, biting my lip until I taste copper when I feel his body press into my back. He keeps his hands to himself for now, but I know that won't last much longer. It's no secret how much he loves to touch me without my permission. I'll scream, I threaten in a breathless whisper. His breath fans across my neck as I feel him lean down. Soft lips brush the shell of my ear. Shivers cascade down my spine like a raging waterfall.
That's such a good little girl,
he replies. I whip around, ready to tell him off, but not a syllable escapes when my lips are captured between his the second I come face to face with him. Instinctively, I bite down on his bottom lip. A deep groan swirls through my mouth, spurring me to bite harder. Explosions riot from our connected mouths, along with the flavor of mint and a hint of smoke. He tastes delicious, and I want him out of my mouth. As if hearing my thoughts, his palm reaches up to wrap around the back of my head, his fingers tangling in the depths of my hair and pulling me impossibly closer. And then I do something really stupid. I suck his bottom lip into my mouth, lost in the taste of him, the feel of his lips against mine. Realizing what I'm doing, I release his lip, attempting to pull away from him. His mouth is a drug, and just like the real thing, it causes me to make incredibly stupid decisions. He doesn't let me go, and instead returns the sentiment, sucking my lip into his mouth and delivering his own sharp nip. I gasp from the pain, granting him access and allowing him to invade my mouth. My pussy responds in kind, throbbing from the feel of his tongue. Memories bombard me, remembering what that tongue felt like sliding against my clit. An involuntary moan escapes, and the second he tastes my body's betrayal, his kiss turns fierce. He completely consumes me, sucking and licking my lips and tongue in a way I've never experienced. I'm helpless to stop him, just as I am helpless to fight it. Another growl pings through my mouth, my only warning to his next move. He grabs my waist and twirls me right up against a mirror, pinning me against the cool glass as his body molds into mine.
Such a good fucking girl,
He praises against my mouth before wrapping my swollen lips into another bruising kiss. Breathless, I force my head away, sucking in precious oxygen. He clamps my cheeks between his large hand, growling against me.
Give me those fucking lips.
He snarls, forcing his tongue back into my mouth. My hands wedge between our bodies, traveling up his stomach, bulging with muscles to his firm chest. Roughly, I push him away, our lips separating with a loud smack. Wait. Stop. I pant, my mind foggy and discombobulated.
What did I say?
He demands sharply. His mismatched eyes capture my gaze in a drug-inducing hold. It's hard to look away when I feel like I'm looking into the eyes of a predator. He is a predator. What? I breathe, still dizzy from the kiss.
If I catch you, I fuck you.
He repeats slowly, gravel lining his throat. My mouth opens, but the words are slow to release. You're not fucking me. I refuse, pushing against his chest harder. His lips whisper across my cheek, trailing along my jawline before dropping down to my neck.
Because you're afraid you'll like it too much.
He concludes, before delivering a sharp nip on my neck. My back arches, goosebumps rising on my skin from the chills.
Because you know that you'll become as addicted as I am.
No, I deny in a whisper. Because I don't want you to. He lifts his head, a knowing smirk on his lips.
So you're going to be my bad girl tonight? Lie to my face and act like your pussy isn't aching to be filled up with my cock.
I feel the blood rush to my cheeks, a mix of anger and embarrassment. Not everything has to come down to physical attraction. I respond, finally. Maybe my body wants you, but up here... I tap my temple. Doesn't. He nods his head, slowly, his eyes flitting across my face in contemplation. He takes a step back, leaving me bereft and cold. It feels like a black shroud encasing the sun on a hot summer day, just a sudden bone-chilling cold. He grabs my hand and pulls me away from the mirror. He spins me until I'm looking at the countless reflections that surround us, echoing our image from every angle. I watch him through the mirror. He presses his body back into mine, his warmth soaking into my pores once more. My eyes settle on one mirror, our eyes clashing through the glass. Slowly, he bends down until his mouth is right at my ear, his eyes never straying from mine.
You want to know why I love the House of Mirrors?
He murmurs in my ear, eliciting sparks throughout my nerve endings. His voice is full of dark promises and dangerous beginnings. I swallow thickly. Why? I whisper.
Look around you.
He commands softly. Hesitantly, I pull my eyes away from his, dragging my gaze across the dozens of mirrors.
What you're seeing now is what I see every day. No matter how far I run, how hard I try to escape you, you're everywhere I go. You're everything I see. Loving you is like being trapped in a house of mirrors, little mouse, and I've never felt so at home while being so lost inside you.
My breath hitches, my eyes snapping back to his. My heart tripped and fell down a flight of stairs the second the word love came out of his mouth. A word he tossed out so casually, I'm not sure if it's a confession or not. I don't think you know what love is, I whisper. He grunts with amusement.
I don't think anyone does, baby. Love is an enigma, and it's redefined every time someone says it.
I frown. All I can feel is disappointment. Not because of what he said, but because of how fucking easy it was for him to accomplish what he set out to do. Just like he wants, a reckless, impulsive feeling consumes me. All I ache to do is let him have me. So many nights where he'd sneak into my bed and take advantage of my weakness, whether the weakness was in my body or brain. He used that against me time and time again. But he never took it all the way, and every morsel inside my being has been waiting for this moment, anticipating it. I'm dying to deny him, yet I have to fight my body from turning and pulling him into me. Maybe just this once. I bite my lip, rolling the bruised and abused lip between my teeth. He watches me closely, studying every movement, like he's trying to interpret a dead language hidden in the lines of my body. Are you only saying that because you think it'll work? I ask, my voice husky and uneven. His mouth is still angled towards my ear, with his eyes locked onto mine. Slowly he shakes his head, his face severe and gaze intense. You're telling the truth? I push my voice, hitching with the desperation for him to just lie and tell me no.
Yes, Adeline.
He whispers. I close my eyes, resignation seeping from my pores. Sensing the change, his hand travels across my flat stomach. I tense beneath his touch, goosebumps rising on my skin. His long fingers latch onto the zipper of my hoodie, slowly pulling it down, parting the material at a painful pace. The sound of the metal teeth separating disrupts the sound of my erratic breathing. "Don't torture me," I bite out, anger flashing from his deliberately slow pace. A wicked smile flashes, and even the mirror can't lessen the cruelty.
Poor little mouse.
He taunts.
You're sadly mistaken if you thought I was going to make this anything but painful.
Chapter 30. The Manipulator. He has the strangest ability to suck the air from my lungs with a simple look. And when his terrifying words accompany the deadly stare, it feels like I don't have any lungs at all. The hoodie parts and he slowly pulls it down my arms. The material drops to the floor where muddy shoes have trekked across 1,000 times tonight. It feels like a cruel metaphor. Along with my clothes, my flesh and soul will be stained tonight. "Someone could come in here," I whisper, my voice barely penetrating the tension in the air. He smiles, a wicked smile that tells me he wouldn't mind if someone did.
What do you think they'd do?
He implores, as he lifts my shirt, the pads of his fingers grazing my skin. Goosebumps rise, a physical reaction from the electricity dancing across my skin wherever he touches me.
Do you think they'd watch?
He asks.
Do you think they'd enjoy the sight of your naked flesh on display? Maybe they would get off on seeing your dripping pussy reflected back at them everywhere they look, or the pretty flush on your chest when you come. I think they'd even enjoy watching your eyes roll to the back of your head when my cock fills you so fully you can't fit any more of me inside you.
A shot of fear injects straight into my heart, forcing the muscle into overdrive. But yet, my body still responds in a much darker way. Just like his words, I feel my pussy pulsate as my panties gradually dampen until it's exactly like he said, dripping. Would I be okay with a stranger watching? I don't think so, but something about the way he paints the picture makes me wonder if I'd let it happen anyway. "You'd be okay with other people seeing me naked?" I challenge, breathlessly, watching my shirt flutter to the black floor. His fingers drift up my spine, slow and deliberate. They burn like lava, searing my flesh.
No.
He murmurs in my ear. I watch him through the mirror, his eyes drifting down until they're targeted on my chest. The band of my bra tightens, the material biting into my skin before it loosens. The black lacy cups supporting my breasts fall and bare me completely. My nipples are painfully tight. When he catches sight of my hardened peaks, his tongue drifts across his lower lip as if he's salivating at the sight.
You want to know what I'd do?
He questions.
I would let them watch. I would let them watch me claim you as mine and own every inch of your body. They would watch my cock fill every one of your holes, and then watch you cry because of how hard you came. And then I'd fucking kill them. My cock would still be wet from your cum as I'd slice their throats for even daring to look at what's mine.
The fear inside me tightens into a sharp point, threatening to pop the balloon of sanity I have left. "You're psychotic," I gasp. This time he laughs, the dark rumble traveling straight to the apex of my thighs.
You will learn to love it.
He murmurs distractedly. His attention has been pulled away as his hands drift across my flat stomach and cup my breasts. I don't have small breasts by any means. I was blessed with good genes. But the size of his hands, they're so big that they make my breasts look small, barely overflowing his hands. He's a monster inside and out. Still, I feel my panties becoming more drenched. It shouldn't be possible for the body to concurrently feel hate and desire, but I suppose we would all be lifeless without the complexities of human emotion. He squeezes my breasts nearly to the point of pain.
I'm going to fuck these soon,
He promises before releasing them and moving his hands to the button of my jeans. With a single flick of his hands, my actions creep in no stealthier than a bank robber in a vault full of money. What the fuck are you doing, Addie? Fuck, I don't know. This is wrong, so very wrong. But I don't stop him from unzipping my jeans. Nor do I stop him from hooking his thumbs on either side and pulling them down. He helps me out of my shoes first, and then slips the jeans completely free. I'm left in nothing but my black, lacy thong. I swallow, my heart racing as I take in our reflection. He's still fully clothed, his eyes ping-ponging across the mirrors to look at every angle of my undressed state. He looks as if he can't decide which mirror to settle on. I fight the urge to cover myself. I find the act of hiding more embarrassing than standing almost fully naked in front of a beautiful man. You have to undress too, I insist. No way am I going to be the only one left exposed. Finally, he comes out from behind me and stands before me. It hurts to meet his mismatched eyes. It feels more real when I'm not looking at them through a glass mirror. For the first time, this moment with Zaid feels consensual. And I'm not sure if I want that. But what fucking sense does that make, to not want it to be consensual? Yet, there's some sick part of me that wants him to force this, so I can play victim later, go on pretending that my pussy isn't weeping for him and that I'm not anticipating the feel of him inside of me. It's easier to play the victim when you're not the mastermind behind all your bad decisions.
If you really want that, little mouse, then you're going to have to do it,
he says quietly. He looks at me as if he doesn't believe I'll willingly undress him, and I think he knows what that look does to me. The asshole knows exactly how incapable I am of backing down from a challenge. I pay him the same respect he paid me. I undress him slowly, gently, deliberately brushing my fingers against his skin and earning my own shivers and growls of impatience. I gasp when I remove his shirt. The scars on his face don't end there. 2 severe knife wounds blemish his skin, one cutting across his heart and the other across his defined abs. The skin is raised and jagged, a stark pink against his tanned skin. And they still hurt him. When I brush my fingertips over them, he tenses beneath my touch and bares his teeth. It's not a physical pain. These scars have long healed, but they're like icebergs. They're unmistakable and imposing on the outside, but beneath the surface is something much bigger and threatening. Something capable of sinking someone to the pits of their depravity, just like the Titanic. They hurt him deeply on the inside, and I really want to know what caused them. Where there aren't scars, there are intricate tattoos. A dragon coils up his side and across his chest, fire blooming from its mouth and down Zaid's shoulder. A mermaid rests on the opposite side, a beautiful woman peering over her naked shoulder. The mirrors allow me a full view of all the others covering his body, down both arms and his entire back, all beautiful and expertly done. You didn't tattoo over any of your scars, I observe quietly, brushing my finger over the dragon's face. In fact, it looks like the tattoos deliberately evade the raised flesh.
I don't hide from my failures.
His failures aren't the only thing that make his body beautiful. He's packed to the brim with muscle, but not too bulky. His physique makes it very clear he can kill you with his pinky without looking like he takes steroids for breakfast. And as if that doesn't turn my knees to jelly, the thick veins roping from his neck down to his thick corded arms and to his massive hands are my undoing. He's fucking phenomenal. Carefully, he watches me, the intensity in his eyes blazing as I study him. He's nearly vibrating beneath my slow perusal, so I move on and resume my torture. It takes a total of 0 seconds before he's bristling with the need to fuck me. I feel so much power in my fingertips. I can't imagine how much power I'd have if I loved him. With every inch of his skin revealed, I grow shakier and wetter. It's not fair for someone to be so perfect, marred and scarred as he is. If anything, the obvious abuse his body has endured only makes him that much more edible. I choke on air when I pull down his pants, his hard cock jutting out from the confines of his jeans. It will never get any less intimidating, no matter how many times I see it. Not unless I suddenly accept death via dick one day. When he's entirely naked, I take a big step back from him and look around. I stare at him from every angle the mirrors provide, just like he did with me. Thick thighs, tight round ass, and a defined back that I want to rub myself all over, and the most beautiful cock I've ever seen. I want to run away, far, far away. This man is going to ruin me after tonight. I can taste it on my tongue.
Are you scared?
He asks in another dark whisper. He's staring at me with an unreadable expression on his face. Yes, I answer truthfully. He smiles, and the sight nearly brings me to my knees. It's not right, how beautiful he is. He's definitely the fucking devil. I'm sure of it now more than ever.
You should be,
he says, his voice lilted with danger. I take another step back, but he doesn't move to stop me.
Get on your knees, little mouse,
he orders darkly. I pause, unsure if I should listen or find the common sense I dropped somewhere on the way into the House of Mirrors and run.
Don't make me ask twice,
he growls, his face dropping to a severe expression. He tilts his jaw down, glaring down at me. The danger in his face scares me, and my juices dampen my thighs in response. I don't want you to ask me, I say slowly. Confusion flits across his eyes for a brief second, and I show him exactly what I mean at that moment. I turn and start to run, but he's too fast. His hand snaps out and wraps around my hair, yanking me backwards. A sharp gasp escapes as I go weightless. He manages to twist my body so I land painfully on my knees, just like we both wanted.
You like it when I force you?
He snarls, yanking my head back until I'm looking up at him. His cock brushes against my cheek, warning me of what's coming.
You like being a bad little girl, don't you? You like to defy me because you love it when I scare you. You're a silly little girl playing with fire.
He taunts, a cruel snarl on his face. Tears prick my eyes from the force of him holding my hair, burning just like the inferno of ire and lust in his eyes. And if I didn't know any better, I'd think there's a blaze of fire behind me reflecting in his mismatched eyes.
Tell me, little mouse, have you ever been fucked by a man like me?
Better, I hiss, the dormant hate for him reawakening. Something very dark and dangerous shudders over his eyes. He arches that damn brow, and I immediately shrink in on myself. It was a lie. We both know it. That's the first thing I learned when I was put in Catholic school as a child. Good girls don't lie. The second lesson is don't trust the devil and his influence, but what they forgot to mention is not to piss him off once you've been influenced. Maybe because that's common fucking sense. My lip trembles as I berate myself for being so stupid. The bitterness and distrust are still churning beneath the surface. I don't know why I thought I could let him dominate and fuck me without fighting back. He'll kill me before I ever fall in love with him.
Open your fucking mouth, bad girl. Right now before I suffocate you on my cock.
This time, I listen. The second my lips part, he's forcing the tip past my lips and straight to the back of my throat. He hisses through his teeth, followed by another feral growl. I whimper and then gag when he forces his dick deeper. He's hardened steel wrapped in silky satin, but the smoothness does little to ease the pain. He's too thick and too long for my small mouth. Tears instantly flood my eyes and spill over as he keeps forcing himself deeper. Instinctively, my hands grip his thick thighs, pushing against him. As quick as a snake, he snatches both of my hands up and grips them together in one hand and resuming the hold on my head with the other. He holds my hands up high and against his stomach. It looks like I'm a woman praying on my knees. My hands bound together as I worship the devil himself.
This is what you wanted, right?
He growls.
Fucking suck it, now.
I do as he says, if it means he'll ease up. I suck, hard, hollowing out my cheeks and smoothing my tongue over the thick vein on the underside of his length.
That's it, baby.
He breathes, finally allowing me to ease back. But in seconds, he's pulling me back in, guiding my head back and forth as I continue to suck him. Muttered words of encouragement and deep groans of pleasure fall from his lips while he grows more forceful. With every syllable and moan that leaves his lips, I grow more desperate to please him, to correct my mistake.
Let's see. Grayson Parker. He was better, huh?
My eyes widen, confused how he knows him and dreading where this is going.
I almost killed him when he ran from your house naked, so somehow I doubt he was better than me. Who else?
He ends the last word by shoving himself deeper into my throat. I choke, and he lets me struggle for a few seconds before easing up.
Brandon Havati, Carlos Santonio, Tyler Sanders.
He continues to list off every man I've been with, which admittedly isn't that many, but it's a lot when you've just put their life in danger. He jerks my head back sharply, allowing me a single breath as he says,
I'll enjoy killing each and every one of them, little mouse.
Before I can muster a response, let alone another breath of precious air, he's back to choking me on his cock again. My vision darkens around the edges from how deeply he's plunging into my throat. It doesn't matter how much I gag and fight against him, he only grows impossibly harder.
You want me to come in your mouth, don't you? You've been thinking about sucking my cock since you worshipped me on your knees with a belt wrapped around that pretty little neck of yours.
I glare up at him, hate burning brighter than lust for just a moment. He smiles, or rather bares his teeth, when he sees the anger reflecting from my brown eyes.
You want it, but you're not going to fucking get it. You haven't earned that privilege yet.
Without warning, he jerks my head back hard, his cock popping free. He lifts me up by my hair until I'm on the tip of my toes. Zayd, please. I whimper, my vision blurred from the tears and chest tight due to lack of oxygen. I'm not even sure what I'm begging for, my life or the innocent men I've just put on death row.
That's such a good girl,
he praises.
I love it when you're scared and begging.
Just when I finally think I can breathe again, he steals it right back. His lips seal over mine in an electrifying kiss. My nails claw against his chest, earning me a low growl as he consumes my mouth with his own. The energy between us crackles and explodes as we both drink from each other. Sparks of fire and the taste of bitter wine invade my tongue. Poison has never tasted so good. As our tongues fight for dominance, he grips my waist and lifts me effortlessly. My legs instinctively curl around his trim waist, just as I feel the cool glass press against my back. The temperature warring in my body feels just like his yin-yang eyes. The chill from the mirror threatens to send shivers curling through my body, yet the press of his body against my own is scorching hot. A sharp bite of my pain on either side of my hips has me gasping into his mouth. In one swift hug, he rips my thong away from my body, the shredded fabric getting trapped somewhere between our bodies. He pulls away and positions the head of his cock at the entrance.
Spread your pussy for me, little mouse,
he orders. I open my mouth to argue, ready to tell him to just fuck me, but the look on his face renders me speechless. Frustration mounting, I reach both hands between our bodies and do as he says. A red flush stains my chest as I spread myself apart. It's demeaning when he knows I'm not supposed to want it. He knows I want him to force himself inside me, and as punishment for insulting him, he's going to make me show him how much I want him. By spreading my pussy and inviting him in. God, I hate him. His hands tighten on my hips painfully. Tomorrow, I'll wake up with handprint bruises. And a part of me dreads that. It will be impossible to forget what happened when I'm wearing the imprint of his hands on my skin.
Don't you dare move your hands,
he threatens, a second before he's pulling me down on his awaiting dick. Ah! I shout, my hands seconds from flying to his chest so I can push off of him. He's too much, stretching me wider than I've ever been. My eyes are rounded into giant saucers as I whimper from the assault. I feel his girth slide between my fingers as he works himself inside deeper. Stop! It doesn't fit, I gasp.
What a poor little mouse,
he coos mockingly, his tone husky and tight.
Maybe one day you'll let me treat this cunt like glass and show it all my love, but you've been a bad girl, haven't you?
When I don't answer, he jerks me down on him harder, earning another pained whimper.
Haven't you?
He barks. Yes, I shout breathlessly, squeezing my eyes shut against the invasion.
Are you going to be a good little girl now?
Yes, I mule desperately. The pain is morphing into something far more intense and breathtaking. He slides out and pushes back in, gentler this time, but no less angry. It feels like my body is on the cusp of bursting. This isn't natural to be so goddamn full. He pulls out to the tip, and then he slams his entire length inside of me, so deep I swear I feel him coming up my throat. I cry out, my voice breaking from the swell of emotion building inside my chest. Not fucking natural.
God damn, Addie. I can barely fucking fit.
Must be why it feels like he's tearing me in half. He starts out slow and forceful, harsh thrusts, then dragging himself out at a torturous pace before slamming inside me again. I feel my body beginning to relax, sucking him in greedily as he dams my soul with every stroke. Widening his stance, he braces himself against the mirror, and my stomach tightens, sensing the oncoming damage he's about to inflict on my organs. Shockwaves scatter throughout my nerve endings as he quickens his pace, roughly fucking me against the mirror while loud noises I've never made in my life fall from my lips. The pleasure is blinding, and the feel of him sliding in and out between my fingers only heightens the potent lust stirring in the pit of my stomach.
Look at us in the mirrors,
He demands roughly. It takes immense effort, but I pry my eyes open and sweep them over the dozens of mirrors. Every angle imaginable is staring back at me. It's too much. Watching him drive himself inside me, his ass is clenched from the force of his thrusts, while a red flush is spread up to my rosy cheeks. My eyes are at half-mast, and my face is twisted into undeniable bliss. He turns his head, and our eyes clash in one of the mirrors. My heart drops as I tear my eyes away to look around and see his eyes pinned on me from several directions. It's the most intense feeling I've ever experienced. Like that gut feeling when you know someone is watching you, but multiplied by a dozen. My eyes lock back onto his, and a slow smile takes over his face. He leans in close, his lips skating across mine as he watches me slowly come apart at the seams, all the while grinning at me.
Tell me, little mouse, have you ever been fucked by a man like me?
I bite my lip and shake my head, fighting the urge to roll my eyes to the back of my head. He readjusts our position, sliding each arm under my knees and hiking them up high. An embarrassing scream escapes as he changes the angle of his hips and hits a spot that instantly makes my legs violently shake. "Oh my God," I moan. And this time, I can't stop my head from dropping back to the mirror behind me and my eyes from rolling backwards.
That's right, baby. I am your fucking god.
He growls before I feel his teeth sink into my neck. My stomach is tightening and I can feel an orgasm building dangerously fast. It feels like an angry Poseidon is in my stomach, forming a devastating tsunami that will surely kill me. The mirror begins to violently shudder from how hard he's fucking me. It feels like it's going to shatter any second now, but I can't bring myself to care. Just as I reach that peak, he pulls completely out. I whimper, the sudden emptiness almost painful. "What?" He drops me to my feet and steps back, pointing to the floor. My knees wobble, my balance screwed from the sharp pleasure pulsating between my thighs.
Get on your hands and knees.
I don't argue, mainly because the loss of the orgasm is painful and my legs are incapable of supporting my weight much longer. Angry tears line the edges of my eyelids, but I bite back my snarky comment. He'll only make my punishment worse. I expect him to slide back inside of me from behind, but his hands dart between my legs and grab me from the underside of my hips, lifting me up until my knees are no longer on the ground, and forcing me to catch myself from face planting. I feel his hot breath fan across my pussy a second before his teeth latch onto my clit. I yelp, jerking from the bite of pain. But he doesn't torture me like last time. Immediately, he suctions my clit in his mouth and laps at my dripping cunt. He hums, sending delicious vibrations radiating throughout my core.
You taste so fucking good.
He murmurs before flicking his tongue against my clit. I look up and shamelessly watch him feast on me from behind. I turn my head until I get the best view of him on his knees behind me, eating my pussy like a starved man. The impending orgasm is renewed and more looming than before. I'm incapable of grinding back into his face like I want, so I'm helpless against his lashing tongue. "Zaid, please," I beg, my eyes crossing from the pleasure.
Does my little mouse want to come?
He asks, his own voice breathless and uneven. I would call him a liar if he ever tried to deny his desire for me, but that's the thing about Zaid. He's never tried to hide how much he wants me. He's never sugarcoated or denied the fact that he desperately craves me. "Yes," I plead on a groan. He pulls away, and I scream at him in frustration, pounding my fist against the floor. Fury from being denied a second time overwhelms me, and I thrash against his hold. He laughs at my attempt. "You motherfucking ass!" He interrupts my tirade by seating himself inside me, his balls slapping against the sensitive nub. I choke on my words, this angle allowing him in far deeper than before. I arch my back and dig my nails into the floor, clawing at the dirty tile as he relentlessly pounds into me. He grabs my hair and snaps my head back roughly, forcing me to look in the mirrors directly in front of me and watch him fuck me.
You want to come all over my cock, baby?
I nod my head, frantically. He smiles in response.
Have you been my good little girl?
Another wobbly nod.
Then fucking say it, Adeline.
I clench around him when I hear my full name spoken in his gravelly tenor. "I'm your good little girl." I breathe, too far gone to feel anything but blinding lust. He molds his front to my back, spearing through my tightening pussy. The hand in my hair travels down around my throat and squeezes tight, while his other palms blaze across my flat stomach.
Tonight is just practice, but I promise you, little mouse, this body will be carrying all my babies one day.
He snarls, teeth gnashing. His image blurs as my eyes roll and the tsunami wave finally crashes through me. I scream so loud, the noise nearly rattles the mirrors. Zaid's name spills from my lips on an erotic chant as my entire world combusts into tiny pieces.
Fuck. That's it, baby. Your pussy is so fucking tight. Milk my fucking cock.
Zaid grinds out. He ends his sentence on a roar, his hips shuddering as he slams into me one last time, filling me with his seed until I can no longer fit any more inside of me. I feel our combined juices pour down my thighs as I'm left panting and breathless on the floor. My body convulses from the aftershocks, even after I come down from the biggest orgasm I've ever had. I can't fucking breathe, let alone move or think coherent thoughts. None of that was natural, absolutely none of it. "I hope you know," I pant. "I'm on birth control." He chuckles breathlessly.
For now.
Before I can respond, a loud buzz disturbs the heavy atmosphere. My eyes snap towards the direction, locating the source immediately. My phone is lit up in my discarded jeans, buzzing wildly. Fuck. Daya. I scramble up and towards the phone, clenching my teeth from the feel of him sliding out of me. My thumb trembles violently as I click the green button on my screen. "Hello?" I answer, wincing when I hear how shaky and hoarse my voice is. "Where the fuck are you?" she shouts through her receiver, her own voice trembling and full of anger. "I got lost, and my cell reception has been spotty." I lie sheepishly, not willing to admit what really happened. Ignoring Zaid's presence, I scramble to pull my clothes on, cringing both from the yelling in my ear and the slickness trailing down my thighs. "The park is closed, Addie. I got kicked out already, and they said that the House of Mirrors had already been cleared out. The stupid asshole security guard didn't believe me when I said you didn't come out. I've been worried fucking sick." Just as I slip on my shoes, a muttered, "Shit," sounds from behind me, drawing my attention. Zaid is staring at his phone. His face is cast in a severe expression. He's wearing nothing but his black boots and undone jeans slung low, giving a mouth-watering view of the defined V disappearing beneath the fabric. Daya's ranting fades to the background as my attention snags. The light from his phone accentuates the muscles straining against his smooth flesh, the scars and the black, intricate tattoos, only adding to his savagery. The veins threading throughout his hands and arms are bulging and, goddamn, if I wasn't already leaning against a mirror, I'd collapse from how devastating he looks right now. That masterpiece of jagged scars and rough edges fucked me into oblivion and vowed that I'd have his babies one day. I can't breathe. "Addie, I swear to I'll be right out, Daya. I'm so sorry." I respond, forcing my gaze away back to my surroundings, trying to gather my bearings, which is really hard to do in a house of a million mirrors. She takes a deep, calming breath. "Okay, I'm sorry. I've just been really scared, Addie." I flinch as a different kind of tsunami overwhelms me. This one is filled with every negative emotion imaginable: guilt, shame, regret. "I'm really sorry, Daya. I'll see you in a few." I hang up the phone and immediately start walking off in the direction I think I'm supposed to be going in.
Wrong way, little mouse. Follow me,
Zaid says, his deep tenor causing me to tense, my shoulders rocketing to my ears. He's finished dressing and is heading in the opposite direction. Stiffly, I turn and follow after him, not asking or caring how he knows where to go, as long as he gets me out of here. After 15 tense minutes, we find the exit door and I rush out, the cold air a balm to my heated face. The fair is a stark difference to when I came in. The field is completely devoid of life, not a single soul on the grounds nor any lights. How long were we in there for? I check the time and my eyes bug when I note that it's 12:30 in the morning. 2 hours. I've been in there for 2 fucking hours. Sure, half of that was getting through the mirrors, but still. Normal people don't fuck for that long, do they? Zaid is somewhere behind me, so I glance over my shoulder and say, "Don't follow me out. Daya is waiting for me, and I don't want her to see you." Even I can detect the coldness in my voice. The entire 15 minutes it took to find our way out, all I could think about is how I want to fuck him again. And that scares the absolute shit out of me. It was the reality check I needed. A very stark reminder that I just had sex with my stalker. I shouldn't have let any of that happen. I feel his hand clamp around my wrist a second before he whips me around. I stumble into him, but he catches me quickly, wrapping a hand tightly around the back of my neck.
"I'm late for a date with a psycho girl anyways,"
he says, easily. My eyes round and he smiles when he detects the anger in my eyes.
"Don't be jealous, little mouse. It's not a real date. She's not my type of crazy, despite the fact that she's not you."
I scoff. "I'm not jealous. Let me go." I snap, attempting to pull away from him. He pulls me in close, his lips brushing across mine as he stares deeply into my eyes.
"That will never happen, Adeline. I will never let you go."
I stiffen, thrown off by the severity in his tone. He's actually serious. He crushes his lips to mine before I can respond, and because this will be the last time I will ever allow this man to touch me, I respond in kind. I claw at him, tugging at the collar of his hoodie roughly and clenching his bottom lip between my teeth, biting down hard until I taste his blood on my tongue. He growls and devours me whole, his mouth still tasting of my pussy. And then he rips away from me, breathing hard.
"Go,"
he demands roughly. I don't hesitate. I stumble out of the field and to my waiting car, the only one left in the parking lot. A fidgeting Daya sits behind the wheel, her stare boring into me. I sigh, readying myself for a tough conversation I don't know how to have. I'll stick to my story. I got lost. That's it. I open the car door and nearly collapse in. When I meet her stare, she's glaring at me with the heat of 1,000 suns. "Why the fuck do you look and smell like you just got fucked? March 2nd, 1946. I told Ronaldo I might ask John for a divorce. He became so excited that for a moment I felt like he and I might finally have a future together. But then I told him that I want him to quit his job. He deflated like a popped balloon. He said that might not be possible, that he was tied to his boss and he doesn't think he'll ever be able to leave. It escalated into a fight. I understand his position. But I told him I don't know if we can truly be together while he's involved with something so dangerous. He made a smart comment that my husband is just as involved with danger as he is. I wasn't sure what that even meant. His gambling habits? We stopped having trouble with that soon after the break-in, so I assumed that John had cleaned up his act. Whatever the case, I stood firm on my decision. Sarah and I will figure things out together. If that means becoming a single mother, then that's what I'll do.
Chapter 31. The Shadow.
What took you so long?
The psycho girl snaps, her dull brown eyes alight with fire. The same inferno in her eyes is what's still residing in my chest. My heart hasn't stopped pounding, and I'm plagued with the unbending need to fuck her again. My brain feels like it's been tossed into a skillet and pan-seared to a crisp. I need to focus, but it's nearly impossible when the taste of Addie lingers on my tongue, and I'm still gripped by the feel of her tightly wrapped around me. I don't know how I'm supposed to concentrate when I just found God. Or rather, I think I just became one. But how can I feel like a god yet be completely stripped of power when it comes to her? I don't know. All I know is I fucking love haunted fairs now. I got caught up with something, I murmur, sweeping the room for lingering employees, or any deadly surprises if the murderous look in the psycho girl's eyes is anything to go by. She's still planning on killing me, and the notion is laughable. If it were so fucking easy to kill me, I would have been dead long ago. These scars are proof of that. After our confrontation, the broken doll and I decided to team up for the time being. Since Mark decided to take matters into his own hands and try to kidnap and enslave my girl, I decided he was no longer worth keeping alive. The 2 seconds it took for him to conspire against Addie was the equivalent to writing his name in a death note. There's no chance of his survival. So, we knocked out the 4 of them. The doll said she'd take them somewhere where the guests wouldn't find them and meet up at midnight to get my answers and finish them off for good. Claire, of course, witnessed the entire thing, and the doll sent her running. I couldn't do anything at the moment when I had 4 men to handle, but the second I walked out of that haunted house, I had one of my men find her and take her somewhere safe. Plain and simple, Claire is an abused woman who deserves to live a life in peace. But she also bore witness to a crime, and I can't allow her the opportunity to tell someone. Afterwards, I immediately went and found Addie and tracked her the entire time. I let her have her fun, visiting all the haunted houses and creepy carnival tents, and ride the thrill rides, all while I stayed quietly behind her, just out of sight, making sure no one even looked at her funny without consequences. "Where are they?" I ask, pinning my eyes back on the strange girl. Blood has already splattered across her white nightgown. I arch a brow but don't say anything. She nods towards the stairs.
Up in my playroom.
She begins to lead me up the stairs but stops short and looks off into the foyer, seemingly staring at something, but I see nothing.
Stay down here until I call you guys up,
she says, still staring off into space. My brow lowers as I try to figure out who the hell she's talking to. She pauses for a moment before she says,
I can handle myself,
and continues up the stairs. Well, this is fucking awkward. I've gotten myself into a lot of interesting situations over the years. Real interesting situations, but this one hits the top of the list. Clearing my throat, I ask, So, what's your deal?
What do you mean, my deal?
She snaps. Those people you were talking to, do they not like me? I ask, amusement prominent in my tone. I'm still not entirely sure what's going on with her. Maybe she's high off drugs. Maybe she's mentally ill. Or maybe she can see spirits or some shit.
My henchmen? No, nor do they trust you.
Her henchmen? The fuck is this girl actually seeing? And are they supposed to be her helpers or something? You, told them to stay down there and that you can handle yourself? I ask. They're not coming up too? She pauses on the steps, whips towards me, and throws her arm out to point behind me.
Do you see them walking behind you?
I don't even turn to look. No one will be there. Aside from the two of us and the 4 men upstairs, no one else is inside this house. I smirk. No?
Then there's your answer. I don't need my henchmen to protect me from you, and since you're here, I figured they could sit this one out.
She explains impatiently. So, she's mentally ill. Got it. Ah.
Ah?
She repeats, aghast.
What does that mean?
It means you're fucking insane, little girl. Where are these demons again? Or whatever you call them? I ask, my own tone becoming clipped. It took 5 seconds to no longer give a fuck about what she's seeing. It doesn't impact me at the end of the day, so I couldn't give less of a shit at this point. If she wants to pretend there's gigantic talking bananas following me around with pitchforks, then I'll indulge her, as long as I get my time with the 4 men waiting for me upstairs. When she brings me into the room, they immediately start screaming, wriggling about like worms caught on a hook. I can't tell if Mark is screaming because he thinks I'm going to help him or kill him, but I suppose I'm going to do both. Help him atone for his sins, and then kill him for it.
Do they know you?
The doll asks, and I hum in confirmation, taking in their appearances and broken bones. The other 3 men look at me like I'm the boogeyman, and that says Zach, the self-made millionaire. Wait until I tell them who I really am. I'm sure their faces will look like Casper's. I only need to learn about 2 things. Find out where the rituals are being held, and how to get into the place. And find out if the society is after Addie. Whatever else they have to say is no longer a concern. You sure no one can hear them?
I do this all the time.
She answers simply. I inspect her from the corner of my eye, looking her up and down. You kill people often? She's a small thing, but the girl can fight, and by the near constant murderous gleam in her eye, it truly doesn't surprise me. She shrugs.
Only the demons.
I can't help the small grin. Do you call yourself the Demon Slayer too? She snarls and stomps her foot like the child she's dressed up to be.
You're not funny.
I disagree. But instead of arguing, I turn my attention back to the matter at hand. Just as expected, the second I rip the tape from his mouth, he starts pleading for his life, and the minute I tell Mark who I really am, his reddened face instantly drains of all blood until his skin is an ashen gray pallor. The other 3 men's faces follow suit, looking at me as if I'm the Grim Reaper. I smile. I am the fucking Grim Reaper. I ignore Mark's reminders that we were friends, and his pathetic attempts to point the blame on his business partners while citing his own innocence. It doesn't surprise me that he'd pass off the blame so easily to others. He's selfish, narcissistic, and a complete imbecile. And by the look on the distressed men's face sitting next to him, they don't think highly of him right now either. In the short time that I've known Mark, I've discovered not very many of his colleagues do. He's loud, boisterous, and outspoken, always trying to be the cool guy and fit in with the crowd. I've also heard through the grapevine that Mark tends to disagree with a lot of his colleagues' political views, always voting opposite on bills within his own party. Don't give 2 fucks about politics either, at least not the kind that deals with laws and regulations. I break those on a daily basis. The fuck would I care about what laws are getting passed when I've never applied them to my life anyway? I also managed to piss off the Demon Slayer when she starts whining about not getting to kill them yet. By all means, start the killing, I say, gesturing towards Miller, Jack, and Robert. Don't let me stop your demon slaying. The air whistles, my only indication that some type of weapon is on its way to plowing into my head like the asteroids that killed off the dinosaurs. I jerk to the side, watching the blade sluice right past my head and into Mark's gut. That looks like it fucking hurts. And then she goes off the deep end, tackling Robert and stabbing him until he's literally mush. Despite the fact that he's no longer a solid mass, she keeps going. It's when Mark starts puking that I've had enough. Sighing, I get up and walk over to her, grabbing her hand and stopping her from her inane stabbing. She's got strength and energy, that's for sure. It takes a lot to stab someone repeatedly. It's more exhausting than people give it credit for. Stabbing someone even up to 100 times with the force she's using would have a grown man panting for breath. And while a thin layer of sweat coats her made-up face, she looks like she's ready for more.
Now you're going to stop me from demon slaying?
She shrieks, her voice pitched so high it nearly makes me cringe. God, fucking women and their screeching. Little girl, there's quite a few things you need to get serious help for, but I'd say anger management is top of the list. She stares at me, her face starting to get twitchy. She looks like a malfunctioning robot, and I'd say that this experience now takes the #1 spot of the interesting situations I've gotten myself into. She looks on the verge of exploding, so I rein in my temper and demand, "Look at me." Her big-ass brown eyes stare up at me, and if it wasn't for the crazed glimmer in her eyes, and the fact that she's covered head to toe in blood, she'd look innocent and sweet. What a fucking lie that would be. Drop the knife. Her hand instantly seizes, letting the knife clang to the blood-soaked floor. What's your name? I ask.
Sybil.
She pauses.
My friends call me Sibby.
A pang of pity stabs at me. Something tells me the only friends this girl has are the people in her head. This girl is alone, completely alone. Judging by her niche for lurking in the walls, I would bet money that no one that works at this fair is even aware of her presence. Sighing internally, I decide to throw the girl a bone. Don't know if it's because I feel fucking bad for her or what, but fuck, I guess I do. You're an interesting person, Sibby, but I'm going to need you to calm the fuck down. I can't interrogate in peace when you're over there stabbing someone like a cracked-out banshee. You feel me? She physically relaxes at the use of her nickname, at me declaring her as my friend, and fuck if that doesn't make me feel a little worse for her. Reluctantly, she nods her head, and after reassurance that I'm not making fun when I call her a demon slayer and wiping an eyeball off of the tip of the knife, I hand it back to her as a peace offering, and then I go back to interrogating Mark, this time in fucking peace. Mark, are you going to give me the information I need? I want to know where you do the rituals, I ask, my voice as emotionless as my expression. Z, I swear, I don't know anything, Mark lies. There's vomit stuck on his lip from when he puked while watching Sibby completely obliterate his dear old friend. Shit was brutal, even I can admit that. I reach down, pick up Mark's hand, dig the tip of my knife under his nail and pluck it right off. Mark screams bloody murder, but the sorry piece of shit hasn't even felt real pain yet. Try again, I say evenly. He protests again, lying through his veneers, so I rip off another nail with the tip of my blade. When I position my knife under the third nail and lift, he finally gives. I almost laugh. The children he kidnaps last longer with torture than he does, which shows that Mark was always weak. Okay, wait! I pause, lifting a brow and waiting for him to continue. His breathing is erratic as tears and snot track down his face. Licking his lips nervously, he confesses, Some of the kids we take them to an underground club. Sibby comes closer, her face enraptured as Mark confesses his dirty sins. I shoot her a warning glare to back off before I turn my attention back to Mark. Where is this place? I ask calmly, though a burning heat simmers beneath the surface. It takes practiced control to keep my voice even. You can only access it through a private gentleman's club. Saviors, you need special access to even get in the club, let alone gain access to the... He trails off, and it seems as if he's struggling with his words. Finally, he forces out his next words. To gain access to the dungeon. A growl builds in my chest, but I wrestle it back down. My hand nearly shakes with the need to plunge this knife deep into his throat. But I refrain. Yeah? And what do you do in this dungeon? His eyes shift nervously and his mouth flops soundlessly. In one quick motion, I flick off the nail my knife was poised under. The answering scream does little to abate the fury crawling throughout my body. I will thoroughly enjoy killing this man. His tortured cries as his body slowly dies will be my lullaby as I fall asleep tonight. It's not until I position the knife under another nail before he finally says anything of value. Crimson rivulets are spilling from Mark's hand, but I've barely begun truly making Mark bleed. "Wait! I said wait, goddammit!" I cock a brow at him again, urging him to continue. We perform rituals on them." He tightens his lips, a pained expression on his red face. "That's how we're sworn into the secret society. We must perform a ritual and drink the blood of a virgin." He confirms what they do to the children, the government's involvement, and I make sure to have him clarify the two men left breathing next to him are a part of these fucked up rituals. It takes stabbing Jack in the thigh before he admits to his sins, but Miller admits it immediately, not wanting to suffer like Jack and Mark.
Can I play now, Zaid?
Sibby asks, impatiently from beside me. She's vibrating with the need to kill, and in this moment I can relate to the little demon slayer. We have the same mission, and that is to murder some fucked up individuals. Go ahead and have fun with those two. I have a couple more things to get out of dear old Mark first. I concede, nodding towards Jack and Miller. "If you don't let me go, I won't tell you anything else. Nothing!" Mark shouts, desperate as death draws nearer. "You're a weak man, Mark. You'll tell me anything I want to know once the pain becomes too much. You either die slow or quick." Sibby happily prances towards them and goes for Jack first. She slashes up his face, and it takes monumental effort to ignore her, especially when her cheeks flush so brightly. I can see it through the makeup. I swear to God, if she gets off right in front of me, I'm leaving. I bend down, getting eye level with Mark, and hold the knife to his dick. The tool he uses to torture young children will definitely be getting a knife plunged through it tonight while he's still breathing. "Who did you speak to about Addie?" I ask. Mark stutters, his eyes continuously glancing over to his friend's torture. A bone cracks, followed by Jack's loud wail of pain. I dig the knife down further. Mark's eyes snap back to mine at the clear threat. "Focus on me, Mark," I say darkly. "Who did you speak to about Addie?" Licking his lips, he asks. "In what regard?" "In any regard that has to do with you kidnapping my girl and selling her, like you were planning to do before I walked in. Did you speak about her to anyone in a position of power involved with these rituals, or saviors?" I know the answer before he opens his fucking mouth and says it. The dimming of his eyes as he accepts that he's about to suffer a great deal more pain. "Yes," he whispers. I lose my composure for just a second, enough to snarl and slice my knife across his chest. He screams, his face beet red from the agony coursing through him, but I'm not done, not by a fucking long shot. "Who?" I bark, losing my control over the beast threatening to rip out of my chest. When Mark continues to moan in pain, I poise the knife right back over his dick and dig it in sharply. Enough to break skin, but not enough to cause any real damage. Yet. Okay, Mark yelps, his eyes widening at the pain. "Who?" I boom. "I want fucking names, Mark." He sniffles, but gives me the names I need to know. The names of the people operating the rituals. Names that are more than likely aliases. But it's a start. He admits he's never seen their faces before, and all communication has been through a video feed where they're shadowed in darkness. There's some type of secret underground government, and based on Mark's ramblings, they have far more control over our government than I thought. The president is just a puppet, and these people who refer to themselves as the society, they hold the real power. Tell me why you did this, Mark. Why did you insist on going after Addie when you knew she was mine? His chin trembles, the waste of flesh the epitome of a pathetic old man. "She was already marked. My heart drops, thudding down my spine like a deflated basketball rolling down a staircase. I took a picture of her because she looked familiar, and when she told me her name, I realized that she was a target of the societies. It worked out perfectly that they happened to call me, and I told them everything. She's worth a lot of money, man, and the society wants her. It doesn't matter to them who you are. It doesn't even matter who I am. When the society wants someone, they get them, and if I was the one to bring her in, I would have been highly rewarded. He sniffles, though it doesn't prevent the snot from leaking out of his nose. Why did they target her? Mark sputters out a wet, humorless laugh. Why do they target anyone? If they're young and beautiful and happen to be noticed, they're on the society's radar. She brought attention to herself in one way or another. It could have been from her books, or you know how women are these days, with the way they dress. I snatch his hand again and flick off another nail before he can finish such a stupid fucking sentence. As if showing any amount of skin is a goddamn invitation to be raped and kidnapped. His answering scream does little to lessen the fury. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Look, you just don't ignore the society's demands, and they're going to come after you, Z. Mark warns, his voice tight with pain but also grave. I hope they do. They'll be saving me the trouble of coming to them. Knowing that Addie was marked doesn't only spark anger, it sparks genuine fear for my little mouse. It never mattered if I came into her life or not. Addie was destined for human trafficking, and the fact that she happens to be the girl I'm absolutely crazy about feels like kismet. It feels like fucking destiny that the man who haunts her is the same man who dedicated his life to destroying the people set out to take her life. I know you don't care, Mark forges on, noting the look on my face. But the second they find out I'm dead, they'll up and move. I've accepted this. I look over at Sibby, the girl now having moved on to Miller. She could be a scapegoat. If the society gets word of a deranged girl killing these 4 men, a girl who's killed before, they would chalk it up to the partial truth. Wrong place, wrong time. An unhinged girl who swears she can sense evil sniffed these men out and decided to murder them in cold blood. She's the perfect scapegoat, actually. But the thought of using her, it doesn't sit right with me. She's a lonely, fucked up girl who helped me carry out these murders. Doesn't matter that she would have done it anyways had I not been there. Without her, I wouldn't have gotten the information I did tonight, and I can't let that go unrewarded. So I resign myself to protect Sibby. I'll clean up the evidence, dispose of the bodies, and do everything I can to infiltrate Saviors before they relocate. Will they demolish? Yes, Mark answers quickly. I let out a slow breath and nod. By saving Sibby, I'm giving up the first lead I've truly had. If you let me go, I can get you in, Mark barters desperately. I'll help you, and you can do whatever you want, just as long as you let me live. The other 3 are already dead, I say. They're going to relocate anyways. Not if you pin everything on this girl. That's what you planned, right? To let her take the fall for it. Sibby is still too blind with bloodlust to hear what Mark is saying, but I would have been honest about it anyway. Sibby and I never promised each other anything, and I'm pretty sure the girl still plans on killing me. But she won't succeed because despite what she thinks, it's only her against me, and I've fought far too many bad guys to allow a little girl to take me out, even if she is a little badass. I refocus on Mark. Do you know where they'd relocate? I ask. Mark hesitates, sensing that he will no longer hold any leverage if he confesses. I dig the knife deeper into his dick to drive home my point. I'll know if he's lying. No, he admits, his lip trembling. They wouldn't tell us until afterwards. I nod my head, lift my hand, and plunge the blade deep into his pelvis. His screams do little to abate the pit of dread and anger churning in my stomach. Chapter 32. The Shadow. Sibby took the fall for the murders. After chopping the bodies into pieces and loading them in the trunk, we sat on the hood of my Mustang where I was once again reminded just how broken this doll actually is. Sounds like her father was a piece of shit. Can't help but muse over the fact that she has a reason to end up the way she did, and I don't. Just as I was getting into my car, the cops pulled up. Sibby refused to get in, insisting that she needed to stay with her henchmen. Men who don't actually fucking exist. And I didn't have time to stay and argue. I had chopped up pieces of body parts in my trunk and needed to not only get away from the police, but dispose of the evidence without getting caught. So I left. The police chased me for 5 miles before I lost them. I have backup license plates on hand, so once I got to a safe area, I changed my plates and clothing, burnt the evidence, and drove home. There are 162 people in Seattle with the same make and model, but they'll never be able to pin anything on me, even if they magically narrowed it down to me. In the end, the police pinned the murders on a mentally unstable girl and an unknown accomplice. I figured the society would look into the crime and find an unknown accomplice suspicious, enough to up and move. But after looking into Sibby myself, I found that she was born into a fucked up cult and wanted for the murder of her father. Her father rivaled Jim Jones, spouting about being God's disciple and tricking hundreds of people into believing in his word. He was a rich man who came from old money. He spent his riches on building a compound for his followers, confining them to a stretch of land for the rest of their lives. That's where Sibby was born and raised, up until she committed a heinous crime and fled. There are reports of Sibby's mother committing suicide via poison, and it seems that's what led to the broken doll finally snapping. She snuck into her father's bedroom at night with a knife and stabbed him to death. 153 times, to be precise. Rage was a factor. Sibby made it clear that she is perfectly capable of stabbing a man past her body's physical limits if angry enough. Robert was proof of that. It took 3 days for them to connect Sibby to murders across the country. All cities that Satan's affair has rooted the haunted carnival in have numerous cases of missing person reports in each location for the past 5 years. If all the people reported missing from Satan's affair had connections to her, Sibby has killed around 50 people. I was genuinely surprised that the haunted fair didn't come under fire sooner with so many reports connected to them. But then I had learned that most of the victims were lowlifes, with very few people that cared enough to look for them. Whether Sibby was correct in thinking they were demons is subjective, but what I can say is that even though none of them have records, save for a few petty crimes, it doesn't seem like they were good people either. So in the end, an unknown accomplice will be looked into, but with Sibby's past, coupled with her claims of having henchmen, there's a good chance the murders of the 4 men will be chalked up to what I had hoped. Wrong place, wrong time. She really was the perfect scapegoat. I just wish I didn't fucking care. That was 3 nights ago, and with the threat of the society relocating, Jay has been monitoring Saviors closely. We've hacked into their camera feed on the main floor, and by the looks of it, they're staying still. Obviously, no cameras reside in the dungeon. That'd be too easy. Any word on the building being demolished? I ask Jay, my phone to my ear. Nope, he replies, popping the P dramatically. I want to pop him in the face for it. You going in tonight? He asks. Yes, I say, rolling my head and cracking my neck. The tension has already started seeping into my shoulders. I have a sinking feeling I'm going to see some shit that will threaten to send me into a tailspin. But I have to maintain control. If I don't, I will die before I save those kids, and that's just not an option. Still keeping an eye on Addie? Jay sighs. Yes. He trails off, and I can feel the question hanging from the tip of his tongue. I want to reach through the receiver, snatch it, and crush it before he can speak, but he's too quick. So, this is like the love of your life or some shit? He asks awkwardly. The sigh I try to keep internal bleeds out and through the phone. The one and only. I clip. My tone signaling that I don't want to speak about Addie right now, but the fucker doesn't ever listen when it comes to my personal life. She feel the same? I can't help the slight smirk from forming on my face. She's getting there, I reply cryptically. Jay finally takes the hint and drops it. Well, you will be happy to know that no one has gone in and out of her house except her friend for the past 3 days. Mark's threat still rings around in my head, like a stray bullet ricocheting in a constant loop inside my brain. The society knows about Addie, making her a target. They may love children, but they absolutely do not pass up beautiful young women to sell and ship off to other countries. There's no shortage of demand when it comes to the skin trade. Evil people have their tastes, and some prefer their victims to be fully grown women just as much as some prefer them adolescent. The tension in my shoulders grows as my thoughts run away from me. A single moment, that's all it takes for her to go missing. Vanish out of thin air within a short trek from her car to the grocery store entrance. She doesn't know the danger she's in, but that will change soon. I refuse to hide the truth from her, and I'm sure she's not going to like hearing that our self-defense lessons are going to be ramping up. Now I just have to figure out how to keep my dick out of her during those lessons. Fuck it, won't happen. I smile, knowing she will try to use those moves on me, but the thought only makes my cock thicken in my slacks. I haven't seen her since the House of Mirrors, and I know deep down that makes her angry. She probably feels like I fucked her and got bored, but that's the furthest thing from the truth. I'm a fucking fiend for her now. It's been the most challenging 3 days of my life staying away, but I need to infiltrate Saviors and save these kids. I haven't had a minute to myself, and as much as I ache for my little mouse, these kids need me more. This time, when more tension rolls in, it's because of my visceral need to be inside Addie, fucking her into oblivion and making her delirious with how hard I'm going to make her come. Be ready. I'll be at Savior's in an hour, I warned Jay before hanging up the phone. For now, I need to push Addie out of my head, but later tonight, I'll be pushing myself inside her so deeply I'll be ingrained in every crevice inside her body. There's some pretty high-profile people there, Jay announces through the small chip in my ear. I'll be taking it out before I get out of the car. Currently, I'm in a line waiting for valet parking. Including the president, Jay tacks on at the end. I inwardly sigh, rolling my neck from the stress spearing into my muscles. This job is hard on my body, even when I'm not shooting people in the face and actively avoiding flying bullets. Maybe I can entice Addie to give me another massage later. I'd love nothing more than to return the favor. Anyone I should be concerned about? I hear Jay typing a mile a second in the background, the keys clacking obnoxiously. I have asked the fucker to get a less noisy keyboard, but he insists the loud clicking brings him peace. And as much as it annoys me, we get so little of peace in our daily lives. So if a fucking obnoxious-ass keyboard brings him some sort of semblance of it, then I won't give him shit. Well, not too much, at least. Several senators and governors, along with a few A-list Ah, shit. Is that Timothy Banks? Come on, don't tell me he's a part of this shit, too. I roll my eyes, shaking my head at Jay's theatrics. Jay, I snap. Focus. There are only a few cars ahead of me, so I don't have much time to talk until I can get in and put the chip back in without anyone noticing. I'm not walking past their security systems with it in my ear. I'd be shot and killed right then and there. Sorry, Jay mutters, his voice now somber from finding out his favorite actor is a pedophile. Really, Jay, we know a lot of celebrities are involved. But Tim Banks, man? Fuck. Anyways, there's no one I can see at the moment that is of high concern, not any more than they already are, considering you're walking into a pit of pedos. Let me know when the chip is back in, I'll keep you updated. Just as it's my turn, I pluck the earpiece from my ear and slip it deep into an inner pocket with lead lining. Handing over my keys to the stone-faced valet guy, I round the car and pause in front of Savior's. Snapping my jacket closed, I refrain from cracking my neck again. Tonight is about making an impression. Others will know that I was friends with Mark, and after his unfortunate death, they will be looking at me. Mark has spread my name around to plenty of his colleagues at this point. I may be new to Saviors, but they've been expecting me. Savior's looks like the type of club I'd expect to run an elite sex dungeon and perform rituals. The main room is massive. The stage is right in the middle of the room, a large pole front and center with a girl swinging around it, completely naked. Her tits bounce as she lifts herself up, wrapping her long legs around the pole and bending backwards, her breasts on full display as she gyrates her hips. I don't bother looking at her body. What I look at are her eyes, and it takes control to keep my jaw from clenching when I see the telltale glazed film in them. Black circles decorate the flesh beneath her dead gaze, and I want nothing more than to carry her out of here and get her somewhere safe. Biting back the anger, I chant to myself in my head that all these girls will be saved. Just like the other clubs, I'm going to get them all out. There will be nothing left of these fucking gentlemen's clubs when I'm done. And then I'll move on to the next city, the next state, the next country if I have to. I refocus on the rest of the club as I work to keep my face blank and my breathing even. Evidently, I've walked into a place where people enjoy the taste and look of blood. The ambiance is dark and moody and shows clear signs of sadism. The lighting is dim, the shadows swallowed by the black walls and furniture. A deep red, the color of blood, is accented across the entire area. Red frames around old age paintings that indicate devil worship and sacrifice. Red shades around the many lamps adorned on each walls. Red glasses, ashtrays, and drinks. And red heels and outfits that are covered in real diamonds and crystals. Though I wouldn't exactly consider their clothes as outfits, more like strings of fabric and jewels, yet they manage to make the place drip with elegance and money. "Zach, so nice to see you here," a voice booms from behind me. Arranging a calm but pleasant look onto my face, I turn and see a man I recognize very well, Daniel Boveri. He's a lawyer for the president, and someone Mark mingled with often. He's a charming man, the tall, dark, and handsome type, with his thick black eyebrows set low over dark eyes that give him a menacing look, black hair, and a snake-like smile. He's pushing his 50s, but the man isn't hurting for women. Dan exudes confidence, and from the few times we've spoken, I understand why he's a lawyer for the president. He's incredibly manipulative. "Dan, nice to see you," I respond, shaking his hand firmly when he holds his out to me. "I was wondering when I'd see you here. Mark spoke about bringing you a few times." "I'm sure he did," I murmur. That's news to me. "Very unfortunate what happened to him. Can't believe some psycho little girl managed to do all that to those four. Still never found their bodies, did they?" I shake my head empathetically, appearing to be just as shocked by Mark's death. "Not that I'm aware of, man. Doesn't she keep talking about henchmen or some shit?" I ask with a mocking smirk on my face. I hate to use Sibby's mental illness to my advantage, but in this case, if it means saving hundreds of children and women, I'll weaponize whatever I need to in order to see that I complete my mission. God, I even sound a little like her. Sibby believes killing evil people is her mission in life, something she was born to do. And I can't entirely disagree with the thought when you're constantly risking your life to do something you feel is right, even if other people will see it as wrong. Dan laughs, the tone cruel and judgmental. "Yeah, thought I heard someone mention that." I scoff in disgust. "Girl says she had 5 henchmen. If they only saw one getting away, can't imagine if there's more out there on the loose." That little remark will circulate and taint the minds of the society. If they believe that Sibby's henchmen are real, then it'll keep suspicions low, at least until the therapists get to Sibby and realize that her henchmen are all in her imagination. By then these fuckers will all have bullets in their heads, and the children they exploit will be long gone. Dan and I mingle for the next several hours. The women here are abused, all blitzed out of their minds and accepting of the punishments for doing nothing wrong. A metal chalice out of the corner of my eye catches my attention. It's sitting atop a table, an older man drinking from it steadily. Subtly glancing around, I notice a few more. They look exactly like the goblets that were used in the leaked videos. My heart sinks. But so far, I can't see any signs that blood is in them. Are you looking to be initiated into the club? Dan asks casually, pulling my attention to him sipping his scotch and eyeing me over the rim of his glass. His gaze is probing and studious, but I give him nothing in return. The muscles in my face stay firmly in place as I respond. Aren't I already in? A smirk crosses Dan's face, and with the dim lighting and the dancing shadows, it makes him appear sinister. I don't even blink at the sight. I'm much fucking scarier. Not even close, brother. I quirk a brow, sipping at my own whiskey. When I give him an expectant look, he chuckles. If you truly want it, you need to have an acquired taste. I have many acquired tastes, I say, adding a bit of darkness to my tone. Not hard to do when I'm not lying. Their tastes are spilling the blood of the innocent, and mine just happen to be killing everyone who does so. Pray tell, what do those tastes entail? Dan inquires, his tone whimsical and almost amused. I shrug a shoulder nonchalantly and take a sip of whiskey while pulling my phone out with the other hand. I pull up a picture of Daniela, a girl I saved 5 years ago. She's deep in a safe house as she was an orphan with no home to return to when I rescued her. It's an innocent picture of her dressed in Barbie pajamas. What sells the illusion is the haunted look in her eyes and the bruises marring her skin. The picture was taken after we first rescued her. She was 10 at the time, and I made sure to ask her permission before showing this to anyone. This is the first time I've had to befriend pedophiles before I killed them, but I knew that if I was ever going to convince them I was just like them, I'd need to show proof. And I'll be damned if I show a random girl off the internet and risk their safety. At least with Daniela, it's an old picture, and I can ensure nothing will ever happen to her. Handing the phone to him, I say lowly, "My latest toy." The words taste like fucking tar on my tongue, but I force them out anyways. Dan's brows skyrocket to his forehead, but an evil, happy little smile forms on his face. You share? I nearly break his hand when he hands me the phone back, his gaze lingering on the picture. Instead, I tuck the phone back in my pocket and bare my teeth. I get jealous. His head tips back and a booming laugh echoes across the space. The noise of the room swallows the sound, but it feels like dynamite in my ears. Understood, my friend. And when they grow too old, I smile salaciously. Organs are a hit in the black market. He grins. I think you'd be perfect for initiation then. Next one is a week from now. You interested? What's this initiation entail? The expectations will be asked of you when the time comes. But when it's over, you get lots of that. He enlightens, nodding towards my tucked-away phone. He flashes a feral smile. Lots of that, in whatever shape, size, and gender. And this is safe? Dan shrugs a shoulder. We had a spy leaking videos, but the society is confident they've found the traitor, and those videos haven't been seen. They were immediately taken down once they were uploaded. False. The particular place they're uploaded on the dark web, I had a signal put in place. The second that video was posted, Jay or I would immediately get a notification. We had 45 seconds to download it before it was removed. That quick. But it was plenty of time for Z. Interesting that they believe they caught the mole. I have no way to verify that, but it doesn't matter anymore. Where there was once a mole is now a wolf. I finish off the last of my whiskey in one swallow, relishing in the burn as it travels down my throat. I smile at him once more, a feral smile of my own. I feel the scars on my face crinkle and the demonic feeling swirling in my gut slipping through, glinting in my mismatched eyes. He takes it for what he wants to see it as. I'm in.
Chapter 33. The Manipulator. The light from the TV blares across the dark room as the news reporter's voice rings out. The murders of the 4 government officials are still under investigation. The autopsy reports have been released to the public, revealing extreme torture before the men had died. A mugshot of a girl is pictured on the screen. She's a pretty girl with plain brown hair and brown eyes. The unsettling part is the look in her eyes. A single glance is all it takes to know that she's clearly unstable. She was the broken doll I saw eating at the fair. And she was in Annie's playhouse that night, hiding in the walls and watching every guest that came through. At one point, she looked at me and probably made a decision on whether she was going to kill me or not. I shudder, knowing how close I could have come to death that night. Snatching up the remote, I click off the TV, shaking as I throw the remote back on the couch. The asshole fucked me and then went and murdered a bunch of men with a psychotic chick. Mark fucking Steinberg is one of the men, along with 3 other government officials I had met while standing in line for Annie's playhouse. He had said he had business to take care of with a psycho chick, and for some reason, him going off to murder people was the last thing I had expected. Stupid. That's what he does, Addie. Murder people. The fear and anxiety are overwhelming. I knew he killed people. Arch's hands showing up on my doorstep was proof of that. His entire family being wiped out? I knew he was a murderer. He admitted it, but somehow seeing his heinous crimes broadcasted on live television is eye-opening. He murdered 4 government politicians. This isn't just a boy playing dress-up with a mob boss's suit and handgun. Arch was insignificant in the grand scheme of things, but this is big. Did Mark deserve it? Absolutely. But I was at his house. I was someone on his radar, and now that he's dead, what if they come for me? Shit, you really are an idiot, Addie. I rest my elbows on my knees and slump my head into my hands. My thoughts are spiraling out of control. Who cares if it happened to be the most mind-blowing sex I've ever had in my life, and probably will ever have. The dude is just as crazy as the girl on screen. He's killed before, and he's obviously going to do it again. And what if he tries to take out the goddamn president next? Or someone else with connections to some very unhinged people? I just don't think I'm okay with that. I look up at the screen again, a news reporter standing in front of flashing siren lights at Satan's affair. I'm just not okay with this, with the fear that some terrifying people are going to come after me because Zaid keeps killing off high-profile people. He's a goddamn serial killer. I need to end things with him for good. It doesn't matter what he makes me feel. He's going to put my life in danger over and over. And how does someone just be okay with that? I'm rocking in Gigi's old chair when a flash of movement outside my window catches my eye. My heart skips several beats when I find my shadow standing on the other side, several feet away with that damn red cherry blaring in the night. Fuck, he's here. He's not going to listen to reason when I tell him to leave me alone. He never did before. It won't be any different now. I need to figure out how the hell to get him away from me permanently. Maybe I'll look into that bodyguard Daya spoke about before. But right now, the only thing I can do is call the police. They'll be here quick if I lie and say I'm in serious danger, and in the meantime, I'll try to convince him to leave. Adrenaline and a heady mix of fear trickles into my bloodstream as I scramble up and away from the window and look for my phone. Looking around frantically, I tear apart the living room in search of my phone. My heart is pounding, the sound resonating in my ears as my breath draws short and choppy. It takes several minutes before I finally find my phone lodged beneath a couch cushion. When I straighten and glance out the window, I finally do freeze. He's gone. Oh my fuck, where did he go? Hands trembling, I dial in the numbers. 9-1. I feel his presence press into my back, a moment before he plucks the phone from my hand. My breath hitches as he clears the numbers and the phone disappears from view. His breath tickles my ear as he leans in.
Were you about to call the police on me?
He tisks.
And here I thought we were past this.
My breath stutters. I don't want to do this anymore, Zaid. I don't want you. His quiet breathing is swallowed by the news reporter droning on in the background. Finally, he says,
When did you become such a liar?
Closing my eyes, I take a steadying breath, and then I lift my leg and stomp on his foot as hard as I can. He grunts, but before I can make a run for it, his arms encircle my waist and trap me against him.
That's very naughty, little mouse. And you know what happens when you're naughty?
A heartbeat passes before he finally growls into my ear.
You get fucking eaten.
Fire licks at my insides, igniting my entire being from the inside out. His words cause an illicit hunger to claw its way down from my throat, through my stomach, and straight to the sensitive spot between my legs. But I will not give in so easily. I will not let this man continue to get inside my head, my body. I'm not your fucking prey.
Then why do you let me consume you?
He whispers, before encircling his hand around my throat and squeezing tight. Stubble pierces my skin as his cheek rubs down the side of my own, before his mouth descends on my neck. A sharp nip pulls a gasp from my lips. His hand tightens further while my breath shortens. Words rise to my tongue, but they fail to release when a low growl vibrates from his chest and throughout my body.
You know how much I love it when you run.
He rasps. His other hand travels across my stomach roughly before sliding up to my heaving breasts. He cups one in his hand and squeezes. I feel the blood rise, rushing to my face as another whimper is wrung from my throat. My nipples are hardened into twin peaks, rubbing almost painfully against the fabric of my bra. Once he bears me completely, he'll see the evidence that I'm enjoying this far more than I should. Somehow, that always seems to be the case with him. Stop it, I choke out, attempting to get away. But his grip holds firm, tightening around my throat until black pinpricks dot my vision.
You don't want this, baby? You don't want to be full of my cock and discover a new religion each time I make you come?
You have a lot of faith in your abilities, I croak. He chuckles as deep and dark as the ocean.
You need faith to be a believer.
He cups me between my legs.
And this pussy deserves to be worshipped.
My eyes shudder as his hot breath fans down the expanse of my chest. Goosebumps rise and a shiver crawls down my spine. His fingers pinch my nipple through the fabric of my shirt and bra, tugging hard and wringing a pained cry from my throat. Yet, my body reacts without permission. I grind back into him, feeling the hard expanse of him pressing into my back. The hand around my throat pulses, tightening almost to unbearable levels. I rise on the tips of my toes to decrease the pressure, but he doesn't let up.
Does it scare you?
He whispers, his breath tickling my ear.
Or does it make your pussy wet, knowing that I hold your life in my hands and I allow you to breathe?
Blood rushes to my head, and fear begins to pump through my veins. Just when I think he's not going to stop, his hand loosens and I greedily suck in precious air. But he doesn't let me breathe for much longer. He twists my body around and backs me towards the wall beside the TV, smiling viciously as I stumble away from him and towards exactly where he wants me to be. When I'm a foot away, he grabs me and slams me into the wall, pressing the entire length of his body against mine. Before I can take another breath, his hand is once more encircling my throat, and his mouth is on mine. Just like he said, I let him consume me. Tears burn the back of my eyes as his mouth tears my lips apart, feasting on my tongue without permission. I can't do this. I can't fucking let him do this to me. Ripping my mouth away, I push him back, but he doesn't move a fucking inch. Stop! I snap, struggling against him. I'm not letting you do this. You just murdered dangerous people, Zaid, which means they have dangerous friends. It's like Max all over again. You're a monster. The hand still wrapped around my throat tightens before he thumps my head against the wall, ceasing my struggles.
And you're the sweet little angel that I'm going to drag down to hell with me.
He rasps, his voice deep and husky as he whispers his omen into my ear. I hate you. I spit, glaring with all the disgust I can muster in my body. He just won't fucking listen. He only smiles, the gesture mocking. And I will never let you fuck me again, Zaid. I'm not ashamed by the way my voice wobbles. Let him hear how serious I am. It's not fear making my tone erratic. It's the animosity bleeding out from my soul. He presses deeper into me, a snarl forming on his face. He looks vicious and enticing, all in the same breath, like the handsome devil sitting on a throne of bones.
Are you willing to bet your life?
He asks, his smooth voice a stark contrast to mine. He grinds his pelvis against me, the hard, thick length of him digging into my stomach. When I don't answer, he smiles.
I think my little mouse is a liar.
He growls the last word into my ear, sending violent tremors throughout my body. His mouth caresses my cheek, the soft flesh of his lips skating lightly towards my lips. His mouth skims against mine, eliciting electric shivers from every spot that our skin clashes. I suck in a sharp breath, the ever-present fear and adrenaline still steadily pumping into my bloodstream, nearly drugging me with the potency and making me delirious. Yes, I whisper, answering his question before I snap my leg up and knee him right between the legs. He manages to dodge the brunt of the hit, but it gives me enough room to slip from his grasp and run. A loud, cruel laugh rings out as I nearly rip the door off its hinges before taking off into the night air. Cold, wet droplets of rain splash onto my skin, soaking me immediately. But I don't let the downpour deter me. Terror pushes me forward, my legs kicking as I bolt off into the woods. My feet slip from the slickness on the porch, and it's then that I remember I'm fucking barefoot. Too late now. I forge on, gritting my teeth against the bite of rocks in my feet as I bolt across the driveway. As a child, I had always wanted to explore these woods. They're deep and incredibly easy to get lost in. My mother and Nana never let me step foot inside them as a kid. Somehow that restriction carried into my adult life. The warnings I received as a child subconsciously kept me from ever going into the woods and exploring, and now I wish I had. It doesn't even take a minute before I'm completely turned around. The only light offered is from the moon, and even that is weak due to the canopies of trees clouding the sky. I keep pumping my legs harder and faster, too scared to stop, too frightened of the devil nipping at my heels, until I trip over a root, my body pitching forward and then crashing noisily into the ground. I land awkwardly on my hands, pain flaring in both wrists as they give beneath my weight. My toe throbs from where it caught on the root, my feet bloodied and abused from running barefoot in the goddamn woods. I'm breathing heavily, heaving out panicked puffs as I roll onto my back. I have to shut my eyes from the onslaught of rain, blurring my vision and leaking into my nose and mouth. Raising a hand to cover my face, I open my eyes and look around. I can't see him, but that doesn't mean he isn't close. My chest is tight, and I work to calm my erratic heartbeat and take deep, long breaths so I can chill the fuck out long enough to hear if he's coming. The wind rustles the leaves on the ground, stirring up dirt and debris and drawing out goosebumps across my skin. The sound is ominous, threatening. Like any moment, the wind will part the trees, and I will see my shadow standing there, watching and waiting. My soaked t-shirt and leggings provide no protection from the unrelenting rain. The clothing molds to my body, trapping the cold beneath the fabric and allowing it to seep beneath my skin. My bones rattle from the violent shivers that rack my body. Sitting up, I suck in a deep breath and hold it, training my ears to listen for footsteps. It takes several seconds before I hear a snap of a twig. The sound comes from directly behind me. I whip my head around, my eyes frantically searching the woods, and my breath once more speeding up. Slowly, I rise to my feet, ignoring the pain pulsing in my battered hands and feet. I need to hide. Just as I take a silent step, I hear another snap of a twig. My heart jumps wildly as a foot appears in my field of vision. Like a demon rising from a fire pit, I watch him emerge from between two trees. My eyes widen, my mouth drying from the sight of a massive man stepping out from the shadows, a hood drawn over his face as he stalks towards me. With that, I turn and I run. I run with everything I have, pumping my legs and arms as fast as they will go. But in the end, it's for nothing. I only make it 10 feet before a hand is wrapping around my arm and jerking me backward. My body goes flying into his, crashing into his hard chest and knocking the breath out of my lungs. I struggle against him, fighting like hell to get away, but he's too big, too strong. He easily overpowers me, circling an arm around my waist and trapping me against his heated body. Hot breath whispers against my ear a moment before his deep voice penetrates the haze of panic and terror circulating in my brain.
You can't escape me, little mouse. I will always find you.
He grabs my face, clenching my cheeks tightly between his large hand. The pinch of the soft flesh digging into my teeth produces a pained moan from my throat. An answering low growl rumbles from his chest right before he asks,
Are you ready to be eaten?
Using the hand gripping my face to turn me around, he pulls my body tightly against his. But I won't go down without fighting. I thrash my arms and kick my legs, twisting my body to get loose from his unforgiving hold. My violent struggles cause my foot to slip and my body to go teetering backwards. We both fall, but the impact of my body against the unforgiving ground is saved by his hand catching both of us, keeping him suspended, while his arm holds me tight against his body. Of course, this still doesn't deter me. Let me go, you fucking maniac! I will fucking—
Do what?
He hisses, cutting me off with an angry growl. He traps my body between his and the cold ground, the freezing temperatures invading my body. Grabbing both of my wrists, he pins them above my head in one hand, while the other wraps around the back of my neck.
Tell me, Addie, do you think killing pedophiles is wrong?
He asks sharply, his one light eye shining bright in the darkness. I think killing people is wrong, I shout in his face, breathing heavily and allowing my body a moment's rest. I'm scared, but my body is exhausted.
Why?
He volleys back.
Because society told you it was? Because humans fabricated morals so they can control and manipulate people into law and order? Do you think other mammals follow the same morals and rules? We're all fucking animals, baby. The only difference is I don't suppress mine.
Panting and angry, I buck against him, trying to rear him off me, but it accomplishes nothing. It's like an elephant sitting on a hamster. He presses my wrists tighter against the ground as he rearranges himself, using his knees to spread my legs and settle between them. Even in the cold rain, he's as hard as a fucking rock. You're going to get me killed, I argue. Because you had to be sick and torture them so badly, it made national news.
You want to know what's fucking sick, Eddie? Those men you're so upset about dying are the same men that hurt, rape, and torture innocent fucking children and get off on it. They thrive off of it. Do you think any amount of punishment in this world will ever make up for even one child they tortured and killed?
I snap my mouth shut, tears burning my retinas.
And what's worse is that despite claiming you as my own, the society has already marked you before I even came into the picture, which means you are in danger whether he's dead or not. Did you know he tried to have you kidnapped at Satan's affair? While you were running through Annie's playhouse, he was in the middle of sicking his dogs to kidnap you, and I made sure that didn't fucking happen, Addie. If you thought you had any fucking chance of getting rid of me, get it out of your head. You need my protection more than you need my cock. But I fully intend on giving you both.
My eyes widen and my heart drops. The society has been targeting me? Jesus Christ, what the fuck did I do in my past life to deserve this shit? I was in so much danger and never realized it, never even felt it looming nearby. Because the man pinning me to the ground kept me safe and protected so I could enjoy my night. My lip trembles as he continues.
He was an evil man, Addie, and one of the worst things he ever did was put you in danger. The worst thing I ever did was make it so easy for him to find you.
The tables have turned. Where I once accused Zaid of failing to keep me hidden from Mark, I am now confessing the harsh truth. He never really stood a chance against fate. You couldn't have stopped him from noticing me, I admit on a soft whisper.
Maybe not, but I brought you further into his sight. I had hoped claiming you would save you, but Mark was always going to turn you in, and every motherfucker who even comes within a mile of your house is going to have my knife in their throats. I have never pretended to be a good person, but what I did do was create my own fucking morals to live by. I will keep killing every deranged individual who resides on this goddamn planet if it means children don't have to die and you don't have to live in danger.
My lip wobbles, and all of the fight I had burning inside of me bleeds out in one breath. I have nothing to say, no argument. I've been holding so tightly onto the notion that all murder is wrong, but I need to let that go. Because Zaid is right. Whether he came into my life or not, I would always end up in danger. And I can't get upset every time he kills someone who meant me harm. If that makes me selfish, then I don't care anymore. Whether I like it or not, Zaid isn't going anywhere. And it's far more exhausting holding on to morals that do nothing but fight against the one thing keeping me safe. I study his face, needing to ask one last question. Have you killed an innocent person?
What's your definition of innocent?
He questions, leaning in close until his minty breath skates over my cold, wet face.
People like Archie, who have hurt others, but there was always a chance of redemption, right?
I swallow, opening my mouth to respond, but he leans closer, his lips mere centimeters away from mine. The words die on my tongue, while his flicks out, licking a droplet off my lip. The small touch should be insignificant, like a butterfly landing on your finger. But instead, it felt like a lightning bolt traveling down my spine and straight to my core.
Do you think there's redemption for me?
He whispers, the tenor of his voice dark and sinful. I lick my lips, searching for the words before I ask, do you want there to be? The rest of his body molds into mine, creating a dangerous cyclone of fire and ice inside of me. The frozen ground and the raging heat off his body war with each other while I try to fight past the delirium his close proximity is causing. He grinds his pelvis into mine, eliciting a sharp pleasure from between my legs. Without conscious thought, my back arches and a moan slips free.
If my redemption resides somewhere within you, then I will spend the rest of my life searching for it inside of you.
He flexes his hips again, wringing another breathless moan from my lips.
I will fill every inch of you, Adeline, and in time my redemption will become your salvation.
His words create a visceral reaction deep inside of me. There's no stopping the flood of arousal between my legs, no more than I can control the intense need to hand over every bit of my soul to him on a silver platter. He's still a stalker, Addie. The small voice inside my head is becoming weightless. So small and insignificant that its words are no longer holding power. I'm becoming annoyed with the voice of reason because nothing I feel for Zaid is reasonable. He stirs up emotions too powerful for reason and logic, too strong to be eclipsed by a little voice in my head. What if I don't want you to? I croak, though my words are in direct contrast to my actions. One leg hikes over his hip, bringing him closer while my mouth still attempts to push him away. What if the last thing I want is you inside me? His lips skim over mine, traveling down my cheek into my jawline. He nips harshly, his teeth pulling out another moan as pain and pleasure stab at my nerves. This time when he grinds into me, I meet his thrust, desperate for him to be closer. Still, I can't give up, even though my body already has. What if I come to hate the feeling of you inside me? Finally, he releases my pinned wrists, grabs the collar of my shirt, and tears it in half. I gasp from the brutal onslaught of cold rain pelting my skin. My back arches as his hands sweep up harshly across my stomach, sending waves of electricity dancing across my flesh. His touch alone is making me feel crazed. Nothing has ever felt so fucking good. And then he's clawing at my bra, exposing my breasts. Before that, too, is torn away from my body.
You would hate the feeling of coming so hard that your body gives out?
Before I can answer, he nips at my jaw again, softer this time, before moving down to my neck. His mouth pauses over the sensitive spot right below my ear. He releases a single breath, and that action is the only warning I have before his teeth clamp down. The only response I'm capable of is a garbled scream. My eyes roll, his tongue lapping at the sting and drawing out the intense pleasure. Sharp bites descend down past my collarbone until one of my nipples is being sucked into his hot mouth. A strangled cry releases and I shudder beneath his lashing tongue. My back arches while I claw at his hair, tugging on the strands just as brutally as he sucks on my nipple. Finally, his teeth release me and I take a brief moment to shoot fire out of my lungs. I can make myself come harder than you ever could. I feel his smile, and I don't need to see it to know how cruel it is. He lifts his head just enough to peer down into my eyes. My heart sinks, and my instincts sense the doom long before his words confirm it.
Are you prepared to prove that to me, little mouse? Because if not, I'm going to make you eat your fucking words.
Chapter 34. The Manipulator. I've never been religious, despite my berating a phantom in the sky for constantly testing my sanity, but in this moment, I seriously hope that something is looking out for me. Because I have a feeling when Zaid is finished with me, my soul will be decimated, and nothing will be able to save me from his damnation. Swallowing thickly, I ask, "How do you plan on doing that?" I try to insert an ounce of confidence, but the calculating look on Zaid's face completely shreds that notion. I shiver, but not from the relentless rain soaking my skin. Instead of answering verbally, he reaches down and grips the waistband of my leggings. In one sharp tug, he's ripping the fabric down my legs and flinging it somewhere out in the forest. Definitely won't be getting those back. My eyes round when he harshly jerks my yellow thong, the lace easily tearing beneath his strength. "Zaid," I gasp, attempting to close my legs to block the freezing rain from my exposed core. He deflects my attempts, prying my knees apart until the rain batters against my center. I squeal from the sensation, sucking in a sharp breath. Zaid may resemble a god, but he's never been the forgiving type. Adjusting his grip to the underside of my thighs, he pushes my legs back until my knees are hiked up to my ears, and my pussy is completely bare to the unforgiving elements. "Zaid!" I shout, my hands shooting out to cover myself.
Touch yourself, little mouse. Let me see how hard you can make yourself come.
He orders, his voice thick with desire. "I'm not—" He bars his left arm across both thighs and uses his now free hand to swipe my hands away. Before I can ask what the hell he's doing, he delivers a sharp slap straight on my pussy. I yelp loudly, pain lancing through my clit and up my spine. The only reprieve is with his body now leaning over me. The rain is no longer pounding against my sensitive core. "What the fuck?"
What did I just tell you to do, Adeline? Don't make me ask you again.
My mouth flops, the words having escaped me. He stares up at me, his face cast in a severe expression that brokers no room for argument. Biting my lip, I contemplate arguing with him, but it takes all of 2 seconds to come to a single conclusion. I don't want to. Keeping my gaze locked on his, I slowly slide my hand back to the apex of my thighs, the gathering slickness having nothing to do with the rain. Reluctantly, as if he can't decide if he wants to watch my face or my hand, he pulls his gaze away and settles those yin-yang eyes on my pussy. Right as I'm dipping a finger inside me, his nostrils flare and his hand on my thigh becomes bruising.
Fuck.
He mouths silently, his eyes flaring with heat. Heat that extends to me, spreading like wildfire until the pattering rain against my flesh is a balm to the incessant burn. Dragging my finger out of my pussy, I circle my finger across my clit, my mouth falling open and a husky moan slipping past my lips. Pleasure exudes from where my digit continues to circle, and I can't help but rock my hips against my own hand, seeking a touch past my own. A touch that would be rougher, firmer, better. Ignoring my body's silent plea, I focus on my ministrations, my head kicking back as my orgasm builds. Zaid lifts up, removing his arm from across my thighs and taking up his former position of kneeling before me with his hands firmly holding my knees to the ground on either side of me. This way, his body is no longer providing protection against the rain, the cold drops of water like ice between my legs. I lift my head, my heart thundering as Zaid's eyes sear through me. The knowledge that he is watching everything I'm doing to myself only heightens the pleasure. I've never been so turned on in my life. and the unfiltered moans are impossible to control. I'm too lost in the moment to care about how loud I am, too high on the euphoria coursing through my system as I reach that cliff. Sensing my stiffening limbs, Zaid looks up at me and whispers,
"Show me how deeply I've ruined you."
My brows contort and my mouth falls open as I topple over that edge. I cry out, my hips rocking relentlessly, searching for something more. The orgasm that washes over me is sharp and quick. Before, I would have been satisfied with that, but now, with the cruel man kneeling before me, I feel fucking robbed. I keep my mouth closed, the downpour and wind seeming silent now that my moans have ceased. A wicked smirk forms on his lips, emphasizing the scars on his face.
"Was it better?"
He asks, but it sounds like he already knows the answer. I nod, not brave enough to speak my lie, but too prideful to say no. For a brief moment, it feels like the world around me stills. The rain, the wind, the leaves on the trees. And then everything is speeding up, too fast for me to stop him from moving my hand and delivering another sharp slap to my pussy. Instinctively, I try to close my legs to abate the pain, but he pins my knees back, leaning over me menacingly. The dormant fear flares back up again as he stares down at me.
"Lie to me again,"
he threatens.
"My patience only stretches so far."
I swallow the lump in my throat, my wide eyes locked on his.
"Was it better?"
It's at this moment my brain decides to remind me that I'm in the middle of the woods, alone, with a very dangerous man. A man who had tortured and murdered 4 men only 3 nights ago. "No," I whisper, eyeing him carefully. I'm tense, waiting to see what his next move will be. Zaid has always been unpredictable. That feeling is nothing new. "He won't hurt you, Addie." "No, but maybe I want him to." He releases me and stands.
"Get up."
He clips. Shock renders me frozen, but my brain catches up after a few seconds and I'm scrambling to my feet. I'm readying to ask. I don't even know, but before I can figure it out, he's bending down and grabbing the back of my thighs. He lifts me up, my legs instinctively curling around his waist. My sensitive center clashes with his hard cock straining in his jeans, nestling firmly between the folds of my pussy. A soft whimper escapes, and I'm still too shocked to move or say anything as he begins to carry me, assumingly, back towards my house. What's happening? I finally manage, shuddering as every step rubs his jeans against my overstimulated clit.
"I'm going to remind you how good it feels to be mine."
Zaid's steps are purposeful as he carries me, the silence between us strained with terrifying promises. The rain hasn't relented, seeming only to grow heavier as time passes. I've no idea how he knows where to go, and I'm both impressed and suspicious. The only reason he knows these woods so well is because he spent a lot of time in them, stalking me. Is he hiding the dead bodies in there? The question is lingering on the end of my tongue, but I let it die. I don't want to upset the small, albeit shaky truce we've seemed to reach. His large palms cup my bare ass cheeks, the tips of his fingers a mere inch from my entrance. He doesn't explore, the teasing touch setting me aflame and flooding me with anticipation. He's driving me mad with desire, and it's only fair I return the favor. If he takes me on the cold, wet ground, I'd be glad for it. The smile that graces my lips is nothing short of evil. My lips trace the column of his throat, brushing so softly that the touch merely feels like a whisper. His grip tightens and my smile grows. Parting my mouth, my tongue darts out and licks a path from the base of his throat to the spot behind his ear. A growl vibrates against my tongue, spurring me into action. He marked me relentlessly so many months ago. Isn't it fair I mark him too? I bite down on that spot, lapping and sucking at the flesh trapped between my teeth, until I'm sure the skin is bruised. and then I retreat and find a new spot to mark, over and over as he gnashes his teeth, hands gripping me with bruising force.
Eddie.
He growls, his voice guttural and so deep it sounds demonic. I trail my lips up to his ear and bite down, sucking the lobe into my mouth. And then I withdraw, gliding my teeth sharply against the flesh as it pops free. "What's wrong?" I whisper into his ear. "Can't handle what you dish out?" I nip at his neck again, delighting in the sound of his control slipping and a moan slipping free. It's the sexiest sound I've ever heard, and I'm nearly feral with the need to bring it out of him again. The light from my front porch is just piercing through the trees when he gives in, slamming me against a tree trunk. My bare back scraping against the rough bark. His jeans are undone in record time, his cock bursting free from the confines and driving up inside me before I can process it. I scream from the intrusion, his cock stretching me so suddenly that all I can feel is fire. But he doesn't relent, fucking me against the tree until I'm clamping down on him, an orgasm tearing through me that nearly causes permanent eye damage from how hard they roll. He spills inside of me on a hoarse shout, ramming me so deeply into the tree, I swear there will be an imprint of my ass. I'm sure the squirrels will find that fascinating. Pulling out of me, he harshly tears me away from the tree and speed walks the rest of the way back. A visceral energy radiates off him, and I can't tell if it's full of anger or desire. My back is on fire, accompanied by the dull throb radiating between my legs. It's the sweetest agony I've ever felt. In the duration of the trek back to my house, my brain has come back to earth, and yet nothing has changed. That unsettles me more than anything. The fact that I'm no longer delirious from fear or bliss, and still, my desire and need for this man hasn't lessened in the slightest. If anything, it's only grown with the weight of anticipation hanging over my head. The small light hanging over my door is like a beacon, as if the house will make me feel any safer from the man holding me in his arms. Instead of beelining towards the door as I expected, he heads for my car. Despite the back of my SUV being spacey, Zaid is no small man, and being cramped in a small space with him suddenly feels intimidating. If I change my mind, it'll be impossible to get away from him. "Why not the house?"
I'm not waiting any longer.
He answers tightly. His tone is serious, and if it wasn't for his still hard dick currently trying to play tag with my stomach, I'd think he was mad at me. Opening the back door, the barbarian nearly tosses me in, barely giving me enough time to scoot away before he's following in after me, slamming the door behind him. The rain patters loudly against the car. It's a sound many sleep apps have tried to replicate, but nothing can ever come close to imitating the sound of Seattle rain. I back myself into the opposite side of the car, but the second he realizes what I'm doing, he grabs both of my legs and drags me right back to him. He hovers over me, my back pressing into the leather seat and instantly sticking to it like hot glue on paper. It's now that my brain focuses on all the insignificant details. Like that I'm completely naked and he's fully dressed, and somehow that makes me feel a little embarrassed. Or that the scent of rain and dirt clings to both of us, yet somehow leather and smoke linger on his clothes. I notice how small this car feels with him in it, and how incredibly tiny I feel with him crowding me. Those things shadow over the details I'm too chicken to acknowledge, like the fact that he's staring down at me so intently, it feels as if his retinas are electromagnetic, and he can see everything I'm hiding inside. I'm not brave enough to meet his stare. Or that his hands are settled back on my waist, the coarseness of his skin sending delicious static shocks throughout my nerve endings. He leans down, close, until his lips are a mere inch from mine. My eyes snap to his like two opposite magnets. I can't stop the force, and once our gazes clash, all thoughts, all those details are forgotten. I can't think of anything else but how much I want him to kiss me, touch me, and claim me as his, over and over until I'm too delirious to fight any longer.
You like to pretend.
He observes, a touch of amusement in his tone. Maybe I'm not, I retort.
Maybe you're in denial.
I tighten my lips, refusing to answer. He smiles knowingly, and the sight is devastating. While I'm busy having a mini heart attack, he pulls me in close, wrapping one arm around my waist while his other hand cups the back of my neck. His minty breath fans across my face, caressing my lips like a light breeze in the spring.
What are you feeling right now?
He asks softly. My breathing escalates. Confined?
Trapped?
He volleys back. My mouth tightens because while a part of me wants to say yes, the truth is that I don't. I feel safe, protected, treasured.
One day you will realize that you are not trapped in a prison.
He murmurs roughly.
You are in my church, where I am your God, and you are my equal. I'm not a jail, little mouse. I am your sanctuary.
My mouth dries. The tip of my tongue darts out, wetting my bottom lip and swiping across his lips. Just a brush, but enough to light a spark. An answering growl arises as I ask, "Does that make me a goddess?" He pulls me impossibly closer, his lips now pressed against mine lightly.
Baby, you rule the fucking kingdom, and I will gladly bow to you.
I let him ensnare my lips between his in a vicious kiss before pulling away, my breath left behind. He goes to recapture them and growls when I evade him once more. Keeping my mouth dangerously close, I whisper against his tongue. "Prove it." He hums, the sound of a beast growling from the depths of darkness.
I do love getting on my knees for you.
He murmurs, nipping at my lips playfully. This time, he's the one to evade me, instead biting and licking until I'm bristling with need. He only teases for a few moments before his mouth is crashing onto mine. The inferno in my body escapes from my throat and ignites our connected lips. Without thought, I arch into him, desperate to feel more of him against me. His lips move over mine with raw hunger. He doesn't just kiss me. He fucks my mouth with his tongue, traps my lips between his teeth and bites, explores every inch of my mouth as he devours me. And I let him. I let him consume me because I'm beginning to forget what it feels like to be whole without Zaid. He's in every part of me. I plunge my hands beneath his hoodie, clawing at his stomach and allowing myself to explore a body I've explored far too much. A body I haven't explored nearly enough. My fingers drift over his abs, familiarizing myself with the hard divots, while he takes over my mouth once more. My nipples scrape against his chest, and I can't stop the moan that releases from my throat. The sound swirls in our mouths, and he rewards me with a harsh nip to my bottom lip, dragging the sensitive flesh between his teeth before letting it go with a pop. He rears back and looks down at me, his eyes slowly taking in my naked form. The wet strands of my hair, now darkened to a mocha brown, are snaked all across my chest and the seat beneath me. Tendrils curl across my breasts and around my nipples, a sight his eyes snag on and can't seem to look away from. "Your turn," I whisper. His eyes drift back to mine and hold. He doesn't look away, even as he lifts up and slides the hoodie over his head, exposing his bare torso. I suck in a sharp breath. The tattoos covering his corded muscles and the various scars are a sight to fucking behold. I want to know the story behind those scars, and wanting to know anything past how hard he's going to make me come is terrifying. But I've always loved that feeling. I've always craved more of it. After some maneuvering, he kicks off his boots and socks and manages to wrangle his wet jeans down his legs. It's a moment that would usually feel awkward, but with Zaid, it only dries my mouth as he exposes his glorious body to me, inch by inch. Chests pumping in tandem, we look each other over, our eyes thirsty as he settles back between my legs, this time with nothing between us. His mismatched eyes pin me against the seat. I couldn't move if I wanted to. And that's the problem. I don't want to. I love the way his fiery orbs trace over my body, like a paintbrush tracing the curves of a woman on a canvas. The wetness pooled between my legs is becoming too much, too heavy, too painful. The quick fuck against the tree only took the edge off, while simultaneously ramping up our need to toxic levels. I'm waiting for you to bow. I taunt in a husky whisper. His eyes dilate and his nostrils flare. My words hang in the air like the oxygen has been sucked out of the room. A tense pause, and he snaps. He grabs my biceps and yanks me up, turning me towards the gap between the driver and passenger seat. He directs,
"Bend over between the seats."
I do as he says, keeping my knees on the back seat bench while I fit my body in the small gap between the two seats, planting my hands on either side for balance. Zaid leans forward, grabbing the seatbelt on the passenger side and looping it around my body before clicking it in the driver's side buckle. "What are you—" He shushes me, repeating the process with the driver's side seatbelt. When he's finished, I'm completely strapped in place, unable to move. It does allow me enough leeway to turn my head and look back at Zaid. Like a king on a throne, he sits on the bench behind me, arranging himself between my legs so my ass is directly in his face. Butterflies hitch in my stomach at the sight of Zaid sitting behind me, his legs splayed wide and his hard cock jutting up past his belly button. From this angle, I have no idea how it ever fit inside me. He grins at me.
"I'm too big for this car, baby, so this is the closest I can get to bowing right now, but I'll be sure to get on my knees for you later."
And just like in the House of Mirrors, he lifts my ass up until my knees are no longer grounded, the seatbelts digging into my sensitive flesh, and feasts on my pussy like a starved man. Like I'm his last meal, just as he asked me to be not too long ago. My eyes roll as his tongue laps up my cunt, circling my clit and spearing into my opening. It's too much, too good. I force myself to find something to focus on, to draw out the pleasure. My gaze locks on the fogged windows, the trails of rain marring the clouds. I try to concentrate on the millions of splashes against the glass, or how the rain is falling so hard it rivals the husky moans falling from my lips. But I lose focus, and it all fades to black as his teeth join in, sucking and biting before easing the sting with his tongue.
"Fucking Nirvana,"
he murmurs before suctioning my clit into his mouth. I cry out, pleasure consuming me whole. And he's right. The way Zaid eats pussy is Nirvana. It doesn't take long before his tongue lashes at my clit in just the right way that an orgasm explodes out of me before I can process it. My screams echo in the confined space as he swallows everything I have to give him. And then he's unbuckling both seatbelts and jerking me backward until I'm on my back, and he's crowding over me again. Our bodies clash, and with fluidity, he lifts my body against his. My legs encircle his waist while my hands seek balance from his broad shoulders. Our eyes stay locked, even as my pulsing core presses against the rigid length jutting between my legs. He snarls, his lip curling ferociously at the feel of my heat enveloping him. My eyelids droop, and with an ease I never knew I possessed, I grind my hips against him, spreading my juices across his cock. His hand shoots up, curling into my wet hair and pulling tightly. My head cranes backwards from the pressure, but my eyes don't leave his near-feral face. His teeth are bared, and the blackness starts to consume his one white eye, darkness bleeding into purity, tainting it, just like he's done to me. Without warning, he pulls his hips back and pushes all the way inside, nearly tearing me apart from the force. My mouth drops from the stretch, fucking me against the tree and then making me come again just now still couldn't loosen me enough to fit him inside of me comfortably.
"Remember this moment,"
he growls deeply, withdrawing to the tip before pushing deeper inside of me.
"because the next time I fuck you, you will be deeply in love with me, Adeline. I'm your stalker and a murderer, and you will love me anyways."
And then he pulls back once more before he sinks himself to the hilt, hitting the spot inside me that has my eyes threatening to cross. "That's not true," I pant. When his eyes flare, I continue. "Did you think this was the only time you would fuck me tonight?" He growls, his lips pausing a hair's breadth away.
"What did I say, little mouse? The next time I fuck you, you will be in love with me."
The car rocks from the force of his next thrust, and the scream that rings out from my mouth is both embarrassingly loud and a sound I have never made before. I thought porn stars only made those noises, completely fabricated and practiced screams. But when he continues to drive into me with the force of a bull, those screams continue to fall from my throat, growing louder and hoarser each time. The rain falls mercilessly, the loud pings from the raindrops only accentuating the sound of skin slapping and the wet noises Zayd is drawing from my pussy. My nails score across his chest, and if he's so sure that I will fall in love with him by the time this is over, then I can be sure that I've added new scars to his collection. The answering growl is feral and vicious, and all it does is heighten the pleasure radiating from where our bodies connect. His arm circles around my waist, and in one swift motion, he lifts me up and twists us, so he is sitting on the seat again while I straddle his lap. When he grabs my waist and yanks me down on his cock, my eyes pop open wide. This new angle has him far deeper than before, a lot deeper than I thought my body was capable of taking. "Zayd!" I gasp, my nails now digging into his shoulders.
Ride me, baby. I want to feel your pussy grip every inch of my cock.
Fuck. I can't. I groan, my body still working to adjust to the sheer size of this man.
You have 5 seconds before I rearrange your organs.
He threatens. It does the job, kicking my ass into high gear and immediately rising up and sliding back down slowly. After a few different readjustments, I finally find an angle that allows me to completely seat myself on Zayd, without feeling him come up my throat. With this new angle, he hits that perfect spot he was abusing moments before. My teeth chatter, my nails digging deeper as my movements quicken. Zayd draws me in, bringing my body flush with his. One arm curls around my waist, while the other hand tears through my wet hair, yanking my head to the side and giving him access to devour my neck. I cry out, my hips moving frantically and erratically as his teeth bite the sensitive skin below my ear. My nipples scrape against his chest, sending delicious shivers straight to my pussy.
That's it, baby.
He croons into my ear.
Your sweet little pussy is gripping my cock so fucking tight.
The arm that was curled around my waist is now wedging between our bodies until his thumb reaches my clit. My head kicks back as I let out a feral cry of my own. My eyes are rolling, and I can hardly breathe past the orgasm curling in my stomach. It's too much, too powerful. My movements grow choppy and uneven as my core tightens unbearably. Zayd, I grind out through clenched teeth, sweat forming on my forehead. I don't know what I'm asking for, but I think I know what I need. The salvation he so steadily promised me. The hand in my hair grips tighter until strands are ripping from my scalp. His fiery eyes catch mine, holding me hostage as I climb higher and higher to a cliff far beyond Parsons Manors. The one and only cliff I wouldn't mind jumping off of, even if I never get back up again.
Let me feel you fall in love,
he whispers. I can no longer hold on. My vision goes dark, the pleasure blinding and dynamic as the orgasm rips through me, tearing everything in my body to shreds. My fight, my willpower, and my goddamn heart. I scream so loudly my throat grows hoarse.
Fuck, Addie,
Zayd shouts, and my vision clears enough to watch his own head kick back, the veins in his arms bulging and traveling all the way up to his neck. He bares his teeth, a roar that can only come from the depths of hell vibrating throughout the car. His cock becomes impossibly thicker before he grabs a hold of me with both arms, forcing me to still as he spills inside of me.
Fuck, Eddie, fuck.
He grinds out through clenched teeth, each word punctuated by a thrust of his hips. My pussy milks him dry, wringing out every last drop until I'm impossibly full of him. His seed nearly bursts from me when he pulls out, the thick semen streaming down my legs like the raindrops on the windows. Our heavy breathing and the pounding of my heart is the only thing left to listen to. The rain has subsided to a light trickle, as if to mock me, because when it was pouring, I was calm and sure of my resolve, while the world around me was howling and raging. I wanted him, craved him, but I was certain I would never love him. And now that the rain has calmed, my resolve has shattered, and I'm left with a screaming heart and a silenced world. April 3rd, 1946. I'm scared. I don't know how it's gotten this way, but after that night, he's lost his mind. When I told him I'm going to get a divorce, he completely lost it on me. He's gotten so angry, so aggressive. He says that he owns me. No one else can have me but him. I don't know what to do. I'm just scared. So very scared.